Live on YouTube and listen back on Spotify. This is the World of Football podcast.
Good evening, one and all. It's 8 o'clock on a Monday night. School's out, if you're still in school. Colleges, unis are finished. The working day is done, except for us, because we all have different jobs. We have a podcasting job where Julio will never get paid. And in circumstance, we are here to enjoy the fun side of football. It is me, not the creator of this podcast, but the most defining, most consistent, best looking, smartest, most passionate member of the podcast. Welcome, of course, to my show as it is. It's my turn. Welcome to the World of Football podcast, everybody. As always, it is the holy trinity of Scotland, Wales, and Albania. Said no one ever. And we're going to have a great show tonight. There's a lot to get through. There is 7 people watching already, and we're literally 90 seconds into the podcast. So do get your comments in, like, share, and subscribe. Let's just fire into it. And if you've got any comments tonight, get them in. So many questions as well. We're here to answer them all. 3 big topics tonight, maybe 4. We got 3 hours. I'm not working till next Tuesday, so I've got all the time and energy. Plus, I'm in Manchester this weekend, so I really want to fire up. I really want to fire in some energy. But before we do that, pleasantries. Nathan, of course, how are we?
I am very well. What a weekend it's been for Cardiff City. I mean, 4 matches.
Said no one ever.
Exactly. We don't say it often, do we? 4 matches went on the bounce. Rolsey signed a new contract. It's brilliant. And we got a South Wales derby this weekend, so we're probably going to completely mess that up, aren't we? But when am I confident about Cardiff City? Let's get on with it.
Absolutely. Julio, how are we? All good?
Yeah, good. I mean, you mentioned obviously the Scotsman, the Welshman, and the Albanian, and to be honest, add a bar in there, and it sounds like the beginning of a really bad joke. So,
still making sure there's no cameras up your ass, right? We're still making sure.
Yeah, of course. There's nothing there anymore.
That's unfortunate. So how can you shit if there's nothing there? Had to get one in, but of course
it took me 4 or 5 days.
That's awkward.
Genuinely.
As I've said, we have now got 8 people watching, 6 people on Twitter.
We've just lost 6 people now because of that whole colonoscopy.
No, we haven't. We've still got people in here, so I think people are going to enjoy it. I guarantee at some point we might have a few Swansea fans to rile up Nathan, so that'll be fun. Cardiff fans, you're more than welcome to fight back. I mean, this is not the war of independence. This is the war of dictatorship. I'm in charge, so anything is welcome tonight. So we're going to go for it. First things first, of course. I think it's only fair, lads, if we dive into pleasantries of other moments of football. So, Liverpool fans, City fans, I'm not going to review your game because I didn't fucking watch. These 2 can talk about it as much as they want, but unlike me, I'm not going to do a Gary Neville wankfest. I didn't watch the game, so I'm not going to hype up both teams. Fuck the both of you. Respectfully. Fuck the both of you. But if Julio and Nathan have got their own takes on the game, they can certainly make it. I've got no problem with that. Don't expect me to give an opinion because I didn't watch because I couldn't be fucking bothered. Just saying. I was busy doing other things that mattered most. On that game, lads, is there anything in particular you want to talk about, particularly how both teams played? Anything in particular that you thought might be an issue of regard to both sides? Is there anything in particular you thought maybe there could be a writing on the wall for their title charge? Nathan, I'll come to you first.
For me, I think the first thing that has got to be discussed is we're going into ref watch straight away. I mean, we're only 4 minutes in and we're talking about referees. I mean,
let's do it. Go on,
Jeremy Doku turn into Seamus or something. I'm sorry, but how the referee and VAR missed it? I mean, I'm sorry, but it just gets worse every week.
I love it now. I
Like,
love the fact that bro kicks are fucking legal in the Premier League now.
apparently we love to see it. Like, it just absolutely baffles me. Like, I know I'm consistent when we go studs up equals a red card,
It should be.
but the fact is, when you've got to go full on broke kick
And
to
it
just
doesn't
try
work.
and win a tackle, and it doesn't work, and the referees still give it and don't see it.
I'm just waiting for.
I don't know what
I'm
Michael
just
Oliver's
waiting.
thinking was, honestly.
I'm just waiting to go to I'm just waiting to go to Man United Liverpool on Sunday, and Casemiro probably choke slams. Like Casemiro probably fucking choke slams Van Dijk in the center of the pitch, and he probably gets a straight red. Like I just like that's gonna happen. Doku can get away with a bro kick. Casemiro will get a straight red from a choke slam. You know it's coming because it's Casemiro. You know it's coming.
Well, what he'll do is he'll probably put his arm out, and then I don't know. Let's think of someone. Endo will just flop to the floor. He'll sell better than Ricochet.
Nah, it's going to be Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott is wuss enough to do that.
100%.
He'll fucking do a Dolph Ziggler deal. It should have been me.
Oh god.
Anything else you want to add in the game? I mean, there is one thing. Obviously, everyone knows. Like, unfortunately, my dad's a City fan, so that's a painful thing. But even he admits, like, I did see like 5 minutes of the game. That was just because I was downstairs talking to him. Because obviously we were quite shit, even though we won at the weekend.
Yeah, I think
the space that City left for Liverpool was quite weird, and I mean like a lot of space where like Liverpool had like what 2 or 3 shots like in a row, where they were just cutting through them. That after that, I stopped watching the game. But from what I did see, like City were just on them, but they weren't really doing anything. It was really bad.
It does come down to Jurgen Klopp's sort of rock stuff, or however you call it, heavy metal football, just driving it through. But I mean,
I don't know.
The thing I've noticed with Manchester City is ever since Gundogan has gone out of that defence and Pep switched it up to this weird 3 at the back system, a lot away from the 4-3-3.
He loves that 3-2-4-1.
Yeah,
he stole that from Xavi. He stole that from Xavi.
He's stolen it from Xavi, but I just, it for me it doesn't work, and it's massive. You can tell it massively exposed them against Liverpool. Like they were smashing it through. Admittedly, Liverpool were just completely wasteful in front of goal and were just absolutely married to getting offside every 10 seconds. But I mean, at the end of the day, if Liverpool had their shooting boots on, and I don't know if Man City were wearing Norwich kits or something, then they would have been absolutely slaughtered to the stake. But at the end of the day, Liverpool just absolutely wasted it. Man City set up completely wrong, and ultimately, with the way that both teams played, and I know I'm going to get heat for it, both teams dropped points in this one.
That's a fair assessment. Julio, would you agree or do you disagree?
I think going into the match, when you looked at the lineups on paper, you would have thought, okay, City might have got this. But you always knew that, you know, Liverpool versus City at Anfield, City haven't quite cracked the code. The only time I think they've done it was in COVID when there were no fans and when Liverpool were really bad. Mm-hmm. And I think that
good evening, Maisie. Welcome to the stream. Lovely to see you, of course. Thank you.
We've said before on the show that, like, with the way Klopp galvanizes that team and the way he's almost a key component of that team, you could afford to have a Harvey Elliott, a Conor Bradley, and a Kelleher in goal. They'll still play well, especially on a big occasion. And agreed. I think at the end of that game, Liverpool were not. It wouldn't have been the way United were at the end of their game at Anfield, where they thought, "Damn it, that was a hard-fought draw. We did really well to get that."
I think this is a fair way to back up your comment there. I think the result for Anfield was probably expected. It's very hard to go to a packed Anfield and get a result. Yeah. Liverpool, if I'm right in saying, Liverpool have 7 first-team players out, something like that. It's around about 6 or 7.
Yeah, it's a really high number.
And they still can't. And City at full strength still can't smash them. I think that's quite weird. They should be battering them.
They absolutely should be, but even with the stats, when you look at it, I know Man City went down the clinical route, but
it's 50-50.
Even then, they just completely held them off. But Maisie touches on.
It's similar to what I said about. Didn't mean to cut you off me there. Sorry. It's similar to what I've said about what would happen if Roberto De Zerbi's team loses 5 or 6 players due to injury. The style doesn't change.
Yeah,
Klopp's the same. Like they played the exact same way. Like again, like no matter what, and I think that says a lot. Sadly, this is also a good point.
But that comes down to a style of play being implemented. That doesn't seem to be happening at United, whereas at Brighton and Liverpool, especially at Liverpool for years, it has been implemented. So you could literally put a Conor Bradley or a Harvey Elliott in there for a big game. Nothing will change. I think Liverpool
They weren't phased.
Another thing to add to that as well, and this is what Reece has been saying practically all season, this is what's cost Ten Hag constantly. Liverpool have made the league adapt to them. Like, Klopp doesn't change the system, keeps it consistent, and just and ultimately he makes teams adapt to him. Whereas, for example, Pep, he's moved to this new system, been proved multiple times it doesn't work. Look at the start of last season, look at this season as well, where unlike last year where they just completely blitzed the second half, it's not happening this time around. I mean it is a banner. Yeah, Reece is always absolutely right. And this season has absolutely proved it with Manchester City. But I mean, Anfield's impossible place to win at. I know it is a bit of a library, and I mean, my phone does it right there. The epitome of Anfield silence.
True.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a difficult place to go, and Liverpool always hold their own there. But they went out to destroy him, and the thing is, I could go on about both teams and just completely say their flaws, but
Luis Diaz should have taken his chances.
Yeah,
he had a
100%. I think both teams will look at that like points dropped. I mean, if you were someone like me or someone like Reece, or even an Arsenal fan, you'd be going into that thinking, somehow I want both teams to lose. And I think if you're Arsenal, you're happy that there's a draw. Because firstly, right, Arsenal fans, stop this lonely at the top bollocks. Like, you're joint top with Liverpool. Okay? But fact of the matter is, what is it, 10 games to go now?
Yes.
It's still
no, it's not. It's I'm sure it's 11 games to go, isn't it?
No, I think it was 11 last week.
10 games left.
10 games left. No worries.
I'm just double checking. It's still to play for in this title race.
Nicholas Jackson has scored for Chelsea after 5 minutes. It is 1-0 Chelsea. So hope the barcode bumming beheading bastards get beat tonight. I don't care for either club. I just can't stand Newcastle for how they've become.
That's fair. Yeah.
I meant Newcastle. I must respect. No, I don't. We have 16 people watching. To everyone that's watching, welcome to the show. We are cooking already, and we're only 12 minutes in.
I think the biggest question to ask is, going into the final 10 games, who gets it, or like who's most likely? Because both teams will be, all three teams will be looking at like win every game, game by game, and
three teams. It's a 2-horse race now. Let's be real.
Hang on. Let me say my piece first, because technically, as it stands, there's 1 point between three teams with 10 games to go. That's a fact. Whether you see it as how it turns out, it's not going to be a 3-horse race. We know that. My point is, Arsenal are still the underdogs, even though they're top, because what Arsenal don't have is experience.
Yeah.
And also, like, they're inexperienced with this. And I think if anyone's more likely to drop points, it's Arsenal out of the three teams, because the top two sides of Liverpool and City, they've been there. They've been in these title run-ins, and they've dropped no points in these title run-ins except to each other.
We know why, though.
I mean, at the end of the day, aside from that, though, I think Arsenal's running is okay. I mean, take Tottenham out of it. You could take, even United at Old Trafford.
I don't think they'll get a result at Old Trafford. Because
I think we'll sit back and counter.
Yeah.
Even though they were, let's be real. I'll admit, even though Arsenal were better at the Emirates, when you look at that game, it didn't get a result until the very last kick of the game. That Declan Rice goal.
It was tight. And apart from a dodgy offside goal.
Yeah, I'm not writing Arsenal off. Let's be real here. But I make my point. I'm not writing Arsenal off. But when they come to us at Old Trafford, their record at Old Trafford is shocking.
It is.
Like, it's shocking. And I don't think it's going to have any impact. I don't think they will get a point. I think we will take all 3 points against Arsenal when we play them at home. I think we'll beat them 2-0. Like, I'm actually confident we'll beat them. Because
I think they'll score, but I see a victory.
I don't. The reason why I don't think they will is when you look at us recently, circumstance away from home against the big teams, piss poor. At home, we're more relaxed. I genuinely think we will beat Arsenal, and we'll just knock the floor with them. And that's not arrogance. That's just purely, I think we've got that in the bag. Also, as well, see, when I look at Arsenal, I think Arsenal are looking past us already. I think they're still in the Champions League at the moment, but they'll be thinking what other games will really be a strike for them. I think they'll completely overlook United and they'll get beat. They've done it before. I think rinse repeat will happen again.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion, though. There was a question, though, lads, before we move on. There is a question from Maisie. She does say, do you think Man City's weakened their squad from last season, especially defensively?
Massively.
I think there's a few holes in there. I think there's a few holes in their defence, especially at centre-back, because you see they badly miss Vardiel and Ruben Diaz.
And on top of that as well, I know obviously, well, everyone knows how much money they've spent over these years, but...
Yep. This I agree with as well. This is bang on.
I think their main weakness is midfield.
I think it's weird that they don't, it's weird that they've put,
Whose weakness, sorry?
Man City.
Man City's. I know you've got De Bruyne and stuff, but when you're playing John Stones, technically, what was that?
He was hooked yesterday, De Bruyne. He did not have a good game.
I think what's significant about City's midfield, I think what's significant about their midfield is the role of John Stones. When he scored, because I saw the goal, the commentary summed up, they don't know what he is. Is he a centre-back? Is he a defensive midfielder now? What is he? Because it's made Rodri's role a little bit differently. And I think that's the significance to what he is. For me personally, I think he's just a brilliant player overall, John Stones, but he's a centre-back, not a midfielder, but he's relaxed in the midfield role. I don't know what their main objective is for him, but if they're playing that 3-2-4-1 that they like to play, definitely their best partnership is 100% Stones and Rodri. It's one of the best partnerships in the world right now. When you look at it on a basis, but even in defence, Stones and Diaz is incredible. But I think when you lose Stones, you see a lot. We've seen how far City's levels drop when they lose John Stones. It's very, very big. It's almost like company levels when they relied on him all that time. They're now relying on him in the same way. I ain't a fan of Vardiel personally. He's a back three specialist. He gets quite exposed easily in the left back role. No, that's fair. That's fair.
That's a good point, actually.
I personally rate him, but his best periods at Leipzig was definitely in the back three. I do agree. I think that's very fair. I think that's a fair comment.
Another thing I want to give a laugh at as well is the pockets of empty seats at Stamford Bridge tonight.
We'll come to that. We will
Absolutely
come to that.
Hilarious.
We will definitely come to that. Julio, what's your opinion on Chelsea? Well, not Chelsea, City. Particularly comments there about are they weakened defensively, and do you agree that midfield is their biggest weakness, or do you think it's elsewhere? What do you think?
Well, they lost players last summer, and we always knew that was going to have an impact. You know, the likes of Mahrez, the likes of Gundogan, seasoned in title runnings of past.
He's one of them, buddy. I think Ross Barkley's another one, even though he's an absolute clown.
Endo was a good signing, I agree. I just think that the way City have set up with this 3-2-4-1, they're always going to be caught out in some form of transition. You're always going to see Liverpool pick them apart because Liverpool are arguably one of the best teams in transition in the league, because that formation is designed to pretty much always be in the opponent's half, always have the ball, and always be having the chances. Yeah.
And speed of attack, yeah.
Yeah. The way Pep obviously views football is, the way he works with space is you're always going to have a numerical advantage because he counts the goalkeeper as almost one of the defenders. You're always going to have one extra player somewhere.
Yeah.
Which I think is a brilliant way to look at it. But, you're asking, we haven't really seen that much this season against Pep's City side because it's the way it is. They dominate possession. They always have in the opponent's half. You catch them on transition,
I think
It
Bournemouth
always-
gave them a massive fright recently. I think Bournemouth really scared the piss
I
out
didn't
of
watch
them.
that game,
Yeah.
sadly, but
Solanke on the counter attack really scared the death out of those defenders. Like they could not keep up with him. Like right now, he is in my team of the season, Dominic Solanke. Never thought I'd say that in my life.
I was going to
He
say
is
this is
like-
a sad day.
especially when he first got relegated with Bournemouth as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
20 million
I never-
quid he cost
terrible.
them, by the way.
He's finally proven himself. I genuinely feel glad for the kid. He's genuinely proven himself. Fair play to him. But he really scared City. Not too long ago. He really scared them. So fair play to Raiola, who we've always championed on this channel. Like we are.
Is there
we
an
are,
argument,
We've Areola defenders.
gents? Is there an argument that obviously they've been playing this 3-back formation for over a year now? Is it possible that the players still aren't used to the lack of defensive solidity with it?
I'm not sure if it's that because we have seen them being very consistent in defence for the back three. I think the problem is when they are transitioning in certain games quickly from a back three to a back four.
Yeah.
I think for them it's purely the run of games is important, and you need to maintain that. And if you don't, then you're going to struggle. Like if they went 3 or 4 games in a row and they played the back three, and then they then they trained specifically for an opponent in a back four, I think they'd be fine. But they're going from one to the other week to week, and I think that's very dangerous. That costs you titles. So I think that's the problem. It's not about the defensive solidity or the defensive weakness that can come from it. It's you're going from one to the other week to week, and there's no room for growth. It's more room for error. That's what I think.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Who wins the league then?
I still think, unfortunately, be City. I'd rather for me, it will always be I want United to win the league, but United are fucking out of it. For me, if Arsenal disappoint this out of the 3, obviously I'd rather Arsenal win the league. Let's be real. Arsenal are they're the lesser of
Which says
three
a lot
evils.
because their fan base does enough to make us not want them to win the league.
Yeah, but they are the lesser of 3 evils. But for me, I want Man United to win the league.
Hmm.
I'll always want my club to win it because I have standards. But if City or Liverpool win the league, then I'll be sick. I will be sick. But I think it'll be down to those two anyway, because Arsenal are a fucking irrelevant football club in terms of challenging for trophies. Like they don't know how to challenge. Let's be real. Speaking of challenging, do you guys think Virgil van Dijk is back to his best ass duck? No.
Tricky
No.
one.
No.
Still
If
good,
it's
still quality, but
very
not
good centre-back,
not the
but-
height that it was before.
The mad
Like,
thing is the reason why
prime
I
VVD. So you're talking about 1920 title-winning Man City chasing VVD, sort of pre-ACL VVD. For me,
Yeah,
he's not going to top that. He's
2018
getting close.
To
He's getting
2020.
very close, but just not there yet.
the reason why I say no. Again, I saw this guy play at Celtic and it was embarrassing because he was that good. Seen him play at Southampton, really good. I saw him when we went to Liverpool and he was generally really good, especially against us. We really struggled. I hate praising Liverpool players, but I'm also going to say I think he's better than he was before. I said after the injury that I don't think he would ever get back to his best. I think he would struggle. I think he's better than what he was before because he's playing very differently.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure. Okay, there's a question. Question from Ryan. Who's going to win Player of the Year in the Prem this season? I think Van Dijk or Foden. I think it will be Foden. If City win the league, then it should go to Foden.
Yeah.
I've always said that whoever's the best player in the team that wins the league should be Player of the Year. I've always stood by that. Last year it should have been Haaland, but like in the same way, same circumstance. If you're not the best player in the team that wins the league, then you shouldn't do it. I know that sounds a bit harsh, but it goes back to my point last week about money. If you win the league, you should be only entitled to Premier League money. For me, if you win the league, your best player statistically should win Player of the Year. Just like the manager should win Manager of the Year. I don't care for the rest of it. the best team should win all the accolades, get all the reward. So for me, I'm saying Foden. I'm saying Foden because I think unfortunately I think City win the league and he's been their best player.
100%.
That's my opinion. Speaking of challenging though, one team who we thought would challenge a lot more has slipped off and they got an absolute rollicking at the weekend. Aston Villa got butchered by Tottenham at Villa Park at the weekend, gents. What are we thinking? Julio, starting with you on this, because I watched that game, and even I was like, I didn't see that coming, regardless. I mean, the fact that obviously Unai Emery matched them system for system, player for player in terms of how many they've put around it. They both played a back five. It was very different in terms of game because I didn't expect Tottenham to steamroll them. But Julio, what were your thoughts on that?
There we go. The mute button's off.
I had them top
Nathan.
6, but that was
I
it.
had them 5th as well.
I
Yeah,
can't
I
remember
didn't think
where
they'd
I
be-
had them.
I had them
Which
top
is-
6, but I didn't think they'd be better than this. But carry on.
One thing I will say is it's going into the league running.
Hey, don't insult Timo Werner, man. Come on, don't insult Timo Werner. 21 people watching. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. There's 18 people on Twitter. Come on over to YouTube. Come on over. Come get your comments in. But in the meantime, get your comments in, guys. Thank you all for watching. Ryan, especially, thank you for putting in the first comment from Twitter tonight. We really do appreciate it. Carry on, Julio.
I was going to say, like, Nathan, have you watched the Irish guy's video today?
Not yet.
He talks about there's a pattern and Unai Emery in league runnings, bottling has happened before. Whether it be a Valencia, whether it be a Sevilla, whether it be even PSG, Arsenal a few years back.
Arsenal massively, yeah.
Now, obviously, you can't expect to get what you want when you have the likes of Mustafi and Socrates playing week in, week out. I think, listen, I don't know whether I considered Villa favourites before. If there's a video of me somewhere on YouTube that I've said Villa are the favourites and I can't remember, I do apologise if it sounds like I'm backtracking. I just can't remember.
A standard Julio performance is backtracking, but hey ho.
No, that has never happened before. Anyway, moving away from the slander, I think, listen, no one expected a 4-0 defeat.
Absolutely not.
I think it caught us all by surprise. But it is what it is. You know, I think at this point, when you look at the EPL table, obviously you've got, who have you got competing? You've got Spurs competing for the top 4. You've got Villa obviously going for the top 4.
You can have United chucked in the mix. You can have Brighton in there as well.
I think it's too little too late for those teams. I think Villa and Spurs will battle it out. I just think the other teams, including United, are too many games.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you're spot on, mate.
Do you know, there's too many games.
100%.
There's too many defeats they've had until now.
Go on.
This is a great comment. I just want to get you guys to answer Ryan's question first because he did ask a good question.
When I first saw it in real time, I thought, no, there isn't anything by it, like a lot of other people. And then when I rewatched it, I actually thought, I was praying they wouldn't give it because I didn't want either team to win.
Respectfully.
But I think it should have been given personally.
100%. I mean,
Then you start asking the questions as if is it slowed down too much and etc. But it's a high boot, you know. You guys are making WWE jokes. The references I would have made would be Jackie Chan personally. Like I think.
I mean, to be fair, let's be real. I mean, if Doku's going, it's gonna be kung fu fighting.
No, to be fair, I just think he's been binge watching the Rush Hour movies like the night before the game.
I mean, I've got too much references in my head.
Yeah, I do think it was a bit reckless and a bit of a deer in headlights. To be
it was
honest,
honestly a little bit reckless.
Wait till we talk Marcus Rashford so I can use my reference again. But carry on.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. It was Spurs have a game in hand on Villa as well, which will help Spurs. it was almost a top 4-6 pointer, if you get my drift. Like, if Villa won, then it would have eased the pressure on them a little, eased the pressure in their favour, if you know what I mean. Because they would have been obviously further ahead. But I just think going into the final 10 games, or 11 if you're Spurs, and with Villa competing on other fronts as well in regards to Conference League, I just think that it's at this point now where I think Emery looks at the Conference League and goes, right, I might put all my eggs into that basket. So if we get 5th, okay. Because if I'm being honest, West Ham, Brighton, and United, all of which aren't looking as good as we've seen them before this season. The best of Brighton was last season. The best of West Ham 2-3 seasons ago. United, we don't know whether we're coming or going. You know what I mean? So I just think that it's just a 2-horse race at this point. You know, Spurs obviously have I was going to say, like, Spurs have a first 11, and if the key players in that first 11 drop out, it could be curtains for them. But
I think, go on.
I was just going to say that it's going to be between those two, unless we see, like, do you remember 2 years ago where there was that one weekend, for example, where United under Ranić and then Spurs under Conte and Arsenal under Arteta, when one weekend all losing.
1 second, Julio. Ryan, keep your questions coming in, mate. Honestly, keep your questions. We're honestly, you're more than welcome. He says, last question, lads. Nathan, what's the score for the derby? He's saying 2-0. To be fair, 2-0
these predictions.
He's saying 2-0 City.
Cardiff.
Which one?
Which City?
I got to
Come on, boys. We got this on Saturday. Let's give them a right humbling. Come on, boys.
But yeah, Ryan, keep your questions in, mate. Like, honestly, they're more than welcome. Like, you're more than welcome.
But yeah, touching on Villa, the one thing I will make, first of all, completely wasteful, but ultimately, looking at some of the individual performances, I do think it massively cost them. So, ones I'm going to name, like Matty Cash, it was basically like having Bevo on the pitch, wasn't it? Concert, he gave away that ball which caused Spurs' seconds. Longley was absolutely terrible. Pau Torres was absolutely terrible. Probably one of his worst performances of the season. John McGinn was absolutely reckless.
Didn't they play
red
Thursday?
Red card was deserved. They did.
They did, yeah.
Villa play Thursday. Did the first team players play, like the likes of Pau Torres and that?
They were playing Ajax. They definitely played their first team.
Yeah, they did.
I still expect them to beat Ajax
were.
because Ajax are shite.
They were.
Of course.
I don't know whether they were hungover or anything, but even then, looking at other aspects of it, Tielemans, he struggles making impact, obviously with the setup again. Leon Bailey, I don't know what it is. Leon Bailey playing in a back five just doesn't work.
No, he's
too isolated.
They mugged him off. I don't know why he went back. I don't understand why Unai Emery went back 5. He should have stuck to the back 4. There was no need for them to completely match Tottenham man for man. They didn't need it. Like, I understand Postecoglou playing a back 5, which is bizarre, but Unai Emery didn't need it. He could have stuck to the back 4. I think both managers made weird formational changes, but the one that pulled off was Postecoglou.
And another factor is he just kept the ball.
Yeah.
Which Villa really suffered against. And I know you had the mistakes on top, but you can't be doing that when you're in such a secure position in the Champions League, and you're going to risk it to like Tottenham, etc. I mean, it's realistically it is between Villa and Tottenham, and if Tottenham get into Champions League, Villa, I'm sorry, but they have absolutely blown it, and this is the place to start.
I agree. Anything else you want to add to that, Julio? Anything in particularly, especially how this will affect their running?
No. I think with the title race, we've already discussed one team's going to fall off very quickly, and unfortunately, it looks like the team that... Listen, I'd rather, Arsenal, lesser of three evils. I'm with Reece on that one. Obviously, I'd want United to win the league, but that doesn't look likely at all. So it's going to be a case of who falls first, I think.
Yeah.
In both the title race and the top 4 race.
I think with the title race as well, just my personal opinion, 31st of March, Man City against Arsenal, whoever wins that match for me wins the title.
There are some big
And
games.
I don't know why.
Spurs play. I think Spurs play all three of the top teams at some point.
They still have us to play second time, don't they? I can't remember. Have we played them twice? I know we still have Liverpool.
We played Spurs twice.
We still have Liverpool and Chelsea to play twice.
Plus, not only that as well. Another thing you got to remember with Villa is they still got to play Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool.
I think we get Watkins. I don't know about Douglas Luiz, but I would have him for midfield depth. But I think we might get Watkins.
Is Kamara a name to think about? From Villa?
No, not anymore.
But the question is, though,
I remember the hype around him a few years back.
He's fallen off. He's fallen off a cliff.
Question is, though, Reece, on the Ollie Watkins debate, how much realistically do you reckon United will need to spend? Because in my eyes, you're not getting him for any less than 70.
60 for me.
I don't think they're a part of it.
I think the reason why it'll be slightly different this time is considering that we're not going in with duds in the transfer market. We're actually until John Murtough gets sacked, but we're going in with genuine negotiators this time and men that actually understand football market. I think we will be a better off situation this time than before.
Do you reckon Diaby would be a good signing for us?
Yeah, but
I know it's a low bar for the bunch of helmets on our right wing, but
it's not really a low bar because Diaby's been excellent for them. But I think
I mean for who we've got in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think the thing is though is if we were to sign Diaby, who are we letting go? Because that seems to be the issue with United. Is United don't retain wingers; they just sell one and they sign another one. If we're signing Diaby, then someone has to come in. Me personally. People are going to hate me for this, but if we were to sign Diaby, the player I'm letting go is I'm letting Marcus Rashford go. Like, time's up. Like, he's top of my list to be sold in the summer. Like, he's at the very, very fucking top. Hate to comment about the bone to actually see something. I'm still too cautious. Yep, no, that's true. Until I see something tangible. But that's where I'm at. Oh, Anthony Gordon's been replaced for Newcastle. Which tells you something. Come play for Scotland, mate. Come play for Scotland, mate. Obviously, it wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't talk about United. Sadly. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, like the chewing gum that I'm eating. United were lucky to win the weekend. If it hadn't been for 2 penalties, we weren't going to win that game. Just like Everton. Everton were going to do it. Without the 2 penalties, that game ends 0-0. Yeah. As a United fan, I'm just being honest. I don't think we were particularly good. We didn't dominate the ball. We didn't play good football. We were shite. But we won, so I'm happy. But fuck knows where we go. Maze is jumping in saying, I'm a little hopeful with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, but I want to see something too. He wanted Chelsea not too long ago. I'd rather have Sir Jim Ratcliffe over that clown Bowley. Yeah, I'd rather have Sir Jim Ratcliffe than Bowley balling ball. But 100%. Julio, I'm keeping it short and sweet because I genuinely thought we were shite and we were lucky to have 2 goals, but there was a lot of things elsewhere I want to talk about. But what was your reflection on the game, mate? And obviously we got the result. That's fine. We got another clean sheet. Onana's really trying hard despite a shit season to get the Golden Glove. What was your take on the performance at the weekend?
Same as it is every week. We were dross. It's never convincing. You know, a Saturday lunchtime against Everton, 2 penalties. I'm not going to lie, that probably sounds like the most boring game of the season.
This team is shit without Garnacho in the side.
Yeah, I think that Garnacho you'd expect at the start of the season to be an impact player from the bench and maybe start the odd game. But at right wing, the experiment seems to be working, and very much so to the point where he's starting every game.
It scares me. Like I think he's fantastic, but he's played so many games in a row. He deserves at least off the bench at least a few games just to recover properly. But fuck me, he's played 25 games in a row from the off. For a young player his age, that's unhealthy. Saka went 80. I think Saka's played 88 games in a row at his age. I know he's only a few years older, but still, like, it's mad.
It's crazy, but it really shows where we're at with players.
We're going to come to that. We're going to come to that because he's part of one of my topics tonight. So I'm going to start that because he is part of the topics. But yeah, Julio, carry on, man.
Yeah, I just don't think there is really much to say about the performance. It's just the 2 penalties to win the game. That's it. I expected more from Everton because we're always there for the taking.
Yeah.
So, fair play. United got the win. I don't think it's going to be anything close to what we need to get Champions League football. The worrying thing is, as always, there's so much managerial talk again. And it really, I mean, there were no news coming out this evening about Nagelsmann, for example, which makes sense because the report came out a few weeks ago that Ineos or whoever, what they call themselves, or the board, spoke to Ralf Rangnick, and Ralf Rangnick recommended Nagelsmann.
He recommended a few people. They just won't say the names.
I just think that the worrying thing, right, if we're going to touch on the managers, then I think the key thing is Ineos will have gone in. I'm just going to refer to them as Ineos because it's shorter
That's
than...
what they are. That's what they are. It's Ineos. That's what they are.
Yeah. I see other
Ineos
people
is
say
correct.
it's not, and I can't be asked to say Sir Jim and them, man, every week. It's too long.
Ineos. It's Ineos. It's the Ineos board. Like, let's be real. It's the Ineos advisors, Ineos like appointments. So, and just Ineos is correct.
Yeah, I just think that if they look at it and if there's going to be a managerial change, the worrying thing is with the shortlist that's come up, it's clear that they're looking at some kind of project, 4 or 5 years, going down more the Arsenal Arteta or even the Klopp Liverpool route.
I want a manager that comes in that understands a project base, but I'm not waiting 5 years to genuinely compete.
Yes.
I know this might sound harsh. I know this might sound very harsh.
It's what City did with Mancini.
No, but what I'm saying is, if we're going for a project, this is what I mean. I expect whoever comes in to be ready to challenge within 18 months. I'm not even joking. I'm expecting whoever replaces Ten Hag, I'm expecting them to challenge in season 2. They get 1 season with me. It's 1 season, get your style in. 2nd season, you're ready to go. And
the thing is,
I think the managerial cycle doesn't match that. I think the managerial cycle, especially with the amount of deadwood we have, like Mourinho said it in an interview a few weeks ago, to get new furniture, you need to clean out the old furniture. And what Mourinho was doing, which is what I've been saying for years, is cleaning the furniture. He's trying to win with scraps.
Looking at it from a neutral perspective, though, like there has been this sense of constantly wanting to do the Klopp route, the Arteta route, etc. But
I can't be asked with that anymore.
Ever since Sir Alex has gone, like
Newcastle equaliser.
Oh wow! Ever since Sir Alex left in 2013, like it's just been rinse and repeat. And if you're going once again for sort of the long and patient route and the sort of really slow rebuild, what was the point of the last 11 to 12 years?
Exactly. I think
like that's a waste of time. I think
Louis was tasked with rebuilding. Louis gutted a lot of the United team and was tasked with building this new team. You don't do that in 2 years, and he was cut adrift.
Yes, you
was
can.
brought in to win with scraps.
This is what people forget.
No, I mean you couldn't do it with Woodward at the top.
Another thing you've got to take into account as well is that you don't have Woodward anymore. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys have been underachieving for the last 12 years. And ultimately, if you need success to come right away, and I mean, 5-6 years, the Premier League could be in a completely different place, or you invest in the long term and do a Chelsea and then completely regress and drop down the table in sort of their extreme.
I'm going to give you an example.
Sometimes sending it for success straight away is such an important thing to do.
I'm going to give you 5 examples of how easy it is to get rid of deadwood and challenge within 2 years. Yeah. I'm going to give you 5 examples right now. Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds. He binned 15 players in his first season.
Yeah.
Jose Mourinho at Man United binned off 14 players in his first summer window, by the way. He got rid of 14 players. Real Madrid at one point binned 9 first-team players. and they signed 6 and they won the league. Bayern Munich, massive turnover, have done that numerous times. Massive turnover, signed 4 or 5 players, they're ready to go. Juventus done it under Allegri.
And
Five separate periods, you can bin players, sign some, and you're ready to compete regardless of the division you're in. There is no excuse for Man United to turn out and say, you're all pish, fuck off. It's so easy. Marcus Rashford, Maguire, Van de Beek when he comes back for Frankfurt, Jadon Sancho if he wants to, Luke Shaw. Gallo at the moment is 50-50 because he's actually being good. Rafael Varane, inconsistent. Tyrone Malacia, bin him and all.
Victor Lindelof.
Yes, every single one of them. If they're in the plans, not in the plans. If they're not in the manager's plans for next year, whoever you are, I'm just naming them as an example. If you are not in those plans, Anthony as well, then get rid of them.
Like on top of that as well, I think that, and
just get rid.
Look at this.
I've just not had the faith till now, personally.
Look at this scenario as well. Who remembers when Pep came in 2016?
I'll be honest
with you.
One
season.
He never had the cap because of who he was involved in. Even when he was at his best at Rangers, there was a lot of talent ahead of him as well.
Yeah.
Madly, but he deserved at least 1 cap.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying, who remembers Pep in his first season with the transitional period coming away from Pellegrini, completely bins off what he doesn't want? And we all know that Pep loves a centre-back who can play, who is basically as good on the ball as the rest of the side. Gets that implemented. We know fully well in the first season he doesn't have that strength in goal.
Kolarov
and
played centre-back
exactly
for half of the first season. And then in the summer after, City lost their 4 aging fullbacks for a combined fee of £2 million. They lost 4. Sanya, Clichy, Zabaleta, and Kolarov.
And they signed 3.
See, there's my point.
And they signed
with the
3.
rubbish out the door,
the big
and
money.
in comes.
I've just not had the faith in the United board until now to do that. And I want to have faith that they'll get rid of 10 players like Ranić suggested. I just worry that it won't happen.
10 players. It's not about getting rid of 10 players though, is you're missing that bit of the point. It's not about binning 10 players. It's about actually going to the board and showing initiative. I don't think, even though he spent well over 400 million quid, and people are going to say, but he's not spent any money. He spent 460 million quid on Johnny Evans being his best fucking centre-back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but even though I like Johnny Evans, it's a fucking insult. You cannot go for that. Like that, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. So, by circumstance, next year, if Ten Hag is the manager and he spends 300 million quid, for example, if he spends 300 million in the summer, if he's the manager in the summer, then I'm expecting the Premier League title. I don't care. If you spend 300 million quid,
should be challenging within after 2 years. Should be challenging.
Realistic doesn't count anymore. Like, because we know Man United spends so much money anyway. So if Ten Hag spends 300 million in the summer, if he keeps his job, I'm expecting the Premier League title. No ifs, no buts. Premier League or sack him. Because we're supposed to be the biggest club in the world. If you didn't win the league or the Champions League at Real Madrid, you're gone. If you don't win anything, you can win the domestic treble at PSG and still get the sack. And they're a shit football club, but they've got big club standards. You don't win the league at Juventus, you're fucked off. You don't win the league at Bayern Munich convincingly, you're fucked off.
This is what big clubs do.
You don't win any trophies at Man United for 3 seasons, you get to keep your job. I'm sorry, but if you're not performing to a specific standard and a specific element of what football's about, then you don't deserve to be in a job. Look at what Mourinho said, 5 months after they won the league? What was it, the Leicester game? If we don't win anything where we are right now, just sack me.
Yeah.
Marcello Lippi, by the way, I'm not even joking. Marcello Lippi famously said when he was the manager of Inter Milan, I think, he said, if we do not win the league or qualify for the Champions League, then you sack me. He said that after one game. They sacked him because they lost the qualifying rounds of the Champions League at the time. Qualifying round to a very low division side. And Lippy sacked him. Lippy got himself sacked for those comments by Marathi. I'm sorry, but there's a standard to football, and you can play good football, like whether it be attacking football or very good defensive football that wins trophies. Simeone, for example. If you don't do any of that, then you bin him. And here's another good example.
Did he say that? I think the other key thing to look at is obviously depending on who you get in. If the recruitment side sorts itself out, then the recruitment
is based on what the
We've sold players to fund crap in some windows, and it's been beyond ridiculous. Reece, I was saying to you like before the show, before we came on, you know, realistically, right manager comes in. Let's say Hansi Flick, for example. Within 4 or 5 years, our 4 or 5 centre backs could be Lisandro Martinez, Antonio Silva, Malik Thiaw, and Jared Branthwaite.
Yep.
And you look at all those names, you think that's a good bunch of, like, even the name, even Diamante is worth a mention.
He did do that. He did do that, by the way. He said that he did say, I've seen the interviews, by the way, that it's fucking hilarious. So he said in a press interview that if Sporting don't win any trophies, whether it be the Portuguese Cup, the league, or the Europa League, if they don't win anything, he's walking. But then people came out saying managers came out saying should we buy Gyökeres or should we buy Diomande, and he went, no, you should sign this guy from Braga. You should sign this guy from Benfica instead. So he's mugging them off. He's like, no, you don't buy these guys. They're not good enough.
The best thing is, I can see why he's doing it, because Gyökeres anyway is absolutely terrible.
Yeah. What?
I mean, yeah.
No, come on, that's
no. I mean,
he remembers.
From,
listen, Gyökeres at Swansea was not the same. If anything, this guy is a fraud to what Gyökeres is.
But what he is now, he is such a good striker. He's really good.
What did Mark Robins do to him? That's the thing I want to know, because how can you go from missing open goals and just basically being a lamppost in a striker in pretty much a very good championship club at the time, to just being insane at Coventry and then being at Sporting Lisbon? It's ridiculous. How do you turn a player into being such a donkey? It's just incredible. It's incredible.
It is. But by circumstance, Gyökeres is brilliant. 20 people are watching on X. Come on over. Come and have a laugh with us on YouTube. But here's the genuine thing though. Whoever does get the Man United job this summer, whether it be Ten Hag or Simeone and Inzaghi, for example, or Allegri if he leaves Juventus and he comes to United. I mean, to be fair, it is called X. I'd rather call it Twitter, but unfortunately, it's no longer that anymore. So I have to go by the brand. Whether it be Xavi for some reason, which could still crazily happen. Like, whoever gets the Man United job this summer, you have 12 months to implement a style of play. You have 12 months to implement your style of play and get your main squad in with your signings. Season 2, you add to the squad and you challenge. Like, you actively put up a fight to Liverpool and City. If you don't, you're out. Because I guarantee within those 2 years, they've spent nearly half a billion quid.
Yeah. So put it into this scenario then, Reece. If the first 2 years are an absolute catastrophic disaster, do you then switch it up and go for the Arteta and Klopp approach? Because I think at that point, you have absolutely no choice to. Because as we've seen for the last 10 years, you can't go from 2 year, 3 year, 2 year, 3 year, 2 year, 3
for
year,
me,
where, say, for example, recruitment has just completely failed.
For me, for example, let's say we get a pragmatic manager like Massimo Allegri.
Yeah.
2 years, we look solid defensively, but we're still dominating the play and going for control of the game, but we're not succeeding. We replace him, we get Simeone. Same type of manager, no change. It's the same system, just a little bit more, maybe a little bit more pragmatic, for example. You don't change the overall approach, you just change the manager. Now, Maisie's mentioned Xabi Alonso. If we got Xabi Alonso, for example, after that, similar circumstance, I'm looking at a manager of the same ilk. You don't go from what we've done when you go from Van Gaal's type of football to Mourinho's, and then all of a sudden to Solskjaer, which just did not work. It needs to be consistent appointments throughout, from the same style all the way through. Going forward, if you've got a specific way you want to play, you've got to have the same managers or same follow-up lined up the same way. It's got to flow properly. If it doesn't flow, then you've killed your whole ideal of being a specific style of football club. So if United at some point decide they want to play more of the gegenpress approach, you follow that way through. If you want to be about the possession style tiki-taka, you move on from Alonso, you get Xavi, or you do Xavi, then Xabi Alonso. It's got to be constant flow. You can't have a wayward, mad approach. Or even like Alonso to Simeone and Inzaghi, it's the same way. It's the same way. It has to flow that way. If it doesn't, then you're fucking shut up.
How about with this scenario as well? I mean, checking sort of identity and style in the bin. What about sort of around the 2010s mark, the Cardiff City model? Win under any means possible.
I really want to see this at Arsenal. I know I mentioned this on the Devil's Advocates the other day. I said I'd really like to see Sean Dyche take the Arsenal job just for banter, just to see them play Route 1 boring football. It'd just be fucking funny.
I mean, one method, I've already mentioned Mancini, and the way that,
I wouldn't mind him either, even though he managed.
But what I mean by Mancini is not Mancini himself, but the approach was build a team to win for now, and then obviously that sets a foundation to build on, and you do it buying really good pros outside the best of the best clubs. Mm-hmm. You know, for example, David Silva, Sergio Aguero from Valencia and Atletico, Yaya Toure, like an outcast almost. Maybe not an outcast, but Barcelona didn't want him anymore. You know, and you build a good team of that. Then you transition to Pellegrini playing an attacking style, and then from that into Pep. One name I've mentioned and kind of built a small case study on just for fun is Ancelotti, which probably sounds like the most insane name I could throw out there. But
I'll be honest. I think Ancelotti is just a cliche statement. I'm not saying that to bring you down. I'm saying it's a cliche statement because that just seems to be the one name everyone just wants to go to, just because of what he's done in the game, which is completely acceptable. I think cliche isn't always a bad thing, though. In my opinion, it isn't always a bad thing. It's appropriate.
I think when you look at, I mean, firstly with Ancelotti, his CV warrants trophies. His CV also warrants attacking football, like efficient but enjoyable football. He gave that Chelsea won their first league after Jose the first time, playing very fluid in attack.
They've tweeted the leak of the home shirt on United District.
Have they?
Yep.
Interesting.
And it looks
close to what I sent.
It looks okay. The difference is the crest. It looks like the 95 crest. I'll present a picture of it just now. You don't need to look. I'm going to put it on screen.
All right, good, because I couldn't find it.
I'm going to bring up from Twitter so people can get their opinions on it.
Yeah, but my other thing, the other parts of my case study for Ancelotti, you're looking at a guy obviously who wins. So you get that. He's played counter-attacking transitional football before in a lot of places, and our team currently can do that. The guy would also play to player strengths, so you'd see Bruno playing as a second striker behind Højlund, for example. And if the recruitment side improved, you know, I've already mentioned who United centre-backs could be in 3 or 4 years' time. And the other thing is, he built that PSG team the first time round.
You took 1 or 2 from me, let's be real. You took 1 or 2 from me.
I took Tior from you. The others were names, I think my initial list was Branthwaite. I've gone from the links and from what I've seen.
I do rate him. I think he's good. Anyway, let me just
Yeah.
get that tweet. So United, yeah, UT.
I don't think Ancelotti will happen, but if we're going down the link of, Blanc knows Zidane, so that's where the link comes from. Blanc had
I wouldn't
Ancelotti
mind.
at
I wouldn't mind
PSG.
Blanc. I wouldn't mind Laurent Blanc. It's a good
I meant
manager.
Jean-Claude Blanc is part of the board, but Laurent Blanc isn't a bad shout either.
Yeah, one sec. So I've got it now, lads. So it's coming on screen now. If everyone hasn't seen it, this is the leaked image of United's home shirt next season. Can you guys see that?
That's interesting.
What do we think?
I don't like the
think-
lighter red
I
on
think
the
it's a lot
sides.
of red.
No, that's what
Yeah.
ruins it. If it was consistent
It's a
throughout,
lot
that'd
of
be a
red.
really nice kit.
I want to
Mm.
say though, in fairness, I just want to say that first of all, I'm moving that down on
I
my
like
side.
the retro vibe because those
I
black
don't
lines
know.
are the new Adidas template, and it gives me a bit of a retro
I
vibe, and I
like-
do like it, like the 2000s.
I like this. I like this. I like the way the black moves. It reminds me of like the classic red shirts from like 10, 20 years ago. Like especially 20 years ago. Like
I don't know why it makes me think
Like
of a
this.
training kit.
I like it like that. You know what I mean? Like that's
Mm,
my obviously
yeah.
that's always going to be my favorite Man United shirt. This is my favorite Man United shirt of all time. The 02 to 04 home shirt, just for sentimental reasons, obviously. But I've got that whole set. It's one of the only sets I ever wanted to fully rebuy again. But in circumstance, I think it's not right. Anyone in the comments just now, Nathan, that are discussing the shirt? Because obviously I've not
I haven't
Comments up.
seen anything yet, no. But
nothing yet. But guys,
I
get
think
your
it's
point, your
very,
comments in for
very.
it.
I think it's dangerous of getting into training kit territory for me.
It does have a
Mm.
similar feel to it. It does
Yeah,
have a
'cause
similar.
It's the lighter shades of red that completely kills it off. If you get rid of that and tone down the black, that's a stunning kit.
Even
But
the
the
lighter
way
red
that
was
Adidas
the
is
same
done
red.
it.
Even if the lighter red was the same red as the main part, it still
Yeah.
looked nice.
Let's have a look at a few comments. Obviously, top comment, Andrew. He's one of my guys from my watches. Obviously, watches Devil's Advocate, but he also watches the Weekly Steel Chair. So shout out to Andrew. It looks like it's looking like a retro version. Premier League title's coming home already. iPhone 12 owners buying iPhone 13. There's another meme for Julio. Many leaked images, but this is it. Someone saying this is fire. Why do I love it? Honestly, not bad. Mamma mia, so bad. I'm not translating that because I've not got time. Looks very nice. If the sides were darker, it would be perfect. Similar to what Nathan said, game is on. So many comments from one person. Get a fucking life. Or find a girlfriend. I don't know. Like whatever's easier. Ad should be white in my opinion. Otherwise, it's decent. That comment there from me is just a Jesus Christ. That Snapdragon sponsor is so much better. I
Low-key
actually agree.
Vodafone
What's your
vibes.
thoughts on the sponsor?
It's
Yeah,
giving me
similar.
low-key Vodafone vibes. I do
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Back on the
At least you
managerial
won't
front,
get
though.
Yeah, you
I
won't
just
get
wanted
tagged
to
with a
say
Glazer,
that-
like you won't get a tag of Glazer Supervisor if you buy this shirt because it does go towards Ineos as well. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know how the rules work now.
You get free Ineos hand sanitizer for every shirt you buy.
For every Glazer you get your hands end up touching. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Because that ties
But
into
yeah,
what I was
I-
thinking.
Reece, I see
As
what
it
you're
was gonna be
thinking,
the- it was-
actually.
It was going to be the last topic,
About
but we can just
2 years.
carry with it. 2 years is my thing, though.
No, but the thing is, if Klopp got Van Dijk in the summer instead of January, they might have been second instead of Mourinho's United.
Possibly, because he
Potentially.
did excel
Mm.
United in XG.
The thing is, within by the end of 2 full seasons, then Liverpool signed Alisson and then Fabinho, and then suddenly they were proper challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Not to
understand
mention
the thought
like
process.
Salah, not to mention like Salah as well.
Yeah,
I
but
think
within
there
the
needs to
first
be an
2
element
full
here.
seasons, style of play was built, a decent team was built that just still needed maybe 1 or 2 players, and then suddenly you had a very good first 11.
That's my point.
And I see that process now. I see that.
If you go beyond 2 years for a big club where you're still figuring things out, then you're not a big club. You're just a big club in name. So like I've said it before, like we are a big club by name, but we don't act like a big club. If we get a manager who actually has a high standard of himself and what he wants, and he actually wants to win, and he doesn't always say the words, we have a plan, then you're going to succeed, especially because you know what players you want to sign, who you don't want, you know how your style of football is going to look, and it's going to be done properly. It's so easy to implement a style of play at Man United. It's so easy, just nobody does it. They just don't do it. And again, people think they don't want Ten Hag to play the Ajax way. So why did you want Ten Hag in the first place? Like, if I've got, like, for example, if Hansi Flick is the manager to Man United in the summer, I rate Hansi Flick. If Hansi Flick becomes the manager of Man United in the summer, I'm expecting him to play the same way he played when he won the Champions League with Bayern Munich. I'm expecting that high pressing creative style that creates chances. Yes, you're going to be a little bit susceptible to turnover and counter attacks, but you know you're going to outscore teams, you're going to outwork teams, and you're going to be very good at pressing the ball, especially in terms of time for ball recovery. If Allegri is the manager, I'm expecting either a back four or a back five where it's going to be very compact, defensively solid. The midfield base is going to have a destroyer and a playmaker that's going to feed the hold up play in the midfield. You're going to have a ball playing centre back and a very aggressive centre back with 2 bombing fullbacks or 2 wing backs, depending on how you play. You're going to have 2 hard-working wingers. Say this is an Allegri 4-2-3-1, for example. You're going to have 2 hard-working wingers that will play as auxiliary strikers. You'll then have a main goal-scoring striker, and you'll have a number 10 that will either score or create. Easy. If it's a 4-4-2, it's similar principles, but one of the midfielders will obviously be a striker. Are we going to get that? No. Because I don't know who we're going to get, but I'm using them as examples.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not expecting any other bullshit. That's how you play. That's what I'm expecting. If that's not what you want to do, you don't apply for the job. Plain as day. If Conte gets the managerial job, I'm expecting us to play 1 game a week merchants with a back three that'll just look to play in the counter, but also dominate the ball, but be aggressive. Simple. Like, it's not hard. Xavi, it's pass, dominate possession, look to suffocate teams. How easy is that? But Ten Hag is, we have a plan. We have a plan. We have a plan. We have a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Manager dream scenarios, though, is something I had for fun. It was going to be our last topic, but since we're already talking managers, we can just put it in now, then we'll carry on. So the manager dream scenarios is specifically where we think big managers are going to go in the summer,
Mm-hmm.
how they're going to fare, and then who we think will be the first to get sacked. So we're going to pick 5 clubs. We're going to agree on a manager each. So it needs to all be, we all have to agree here. And then out of the 5 clubs and the 5 managers, we're going to see who we think will do the best. And by best, obviously, trophies is the only measure of success. And then we'll also see if we can agree who gets sacked first. So, 5 clubs. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Man United, Chelsea. 3 English clubs, because obviously the 3 English clubs are in question.
Yeah.
1 Spanish club. Actually, no, it's 2 Spanish. Hold on, what did I say there?
Barcelona, Juventus, and Bayern
2
Munich.
Aye, because I was going to say Liverpool, we kind of expect them to be, unfortunately, they're going to be fine. But yeah, Man United, Chelsea, Bayern, Barca, Juventus. Unless you want to add in Liverpool, and we do 6 clubs.
You know what? Let's chuck in Liverpool.
I think we should take out Chelsea. Or Liverpool.
I'm not sure if we should. I think we should still keep them in just for the carnage.
Yeah, because we all know that Chelsea's going to be last, whichever way they go for it.
Mm.
True. So let's start with the round robin questioning. Let's start with Barcelona. Let's see who we got. What are we thinking? I'm thinking Thomas Tuchel or Thiago Motta. Even though I know where I'd rather Motta go, I think Motta or Tuchel potentially.
I think
What are we
Motta
thinking?
would be the better name.
Yeah, I cannot. I for the life of me, I can't see Tuchel at Barcelona.
I see Mourinho as a better fit than Tuchel.
Yeah.
To get insulted, yeah. Because it's still insulting with that translator fucking nickname.
I also think
true.
as well with Tuchel in his recent record, as well, and just with the way that Barcelona are, and with the current state of that squad, Tuchel's gone by February.
No big manager is going to want to go to Barcelona with no reassurances whatsoever.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
That's the problem.
Too much instability on and off the pitch there.
Two things. We've said it before. Either Barcelona abandon their principles and win at all costs to get the money, the La Liga money, or they forget about winning leagues, they focus on La Masia, sell players, maybe sell to buy, free transfers maybe, but realistically not 5 players in, 5 players out, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on La Masia, focus on principles.
Yep.
Build a team based off the youth academy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Barcelona used to mean something.
Yeah, still cheating, but
They used to stand for stuff, though. No sponsor, and then UNICEF, and then Qatar Foundation, which was obviously just a cover-up for Qatari sponsors. But
I like shirts with no kit sponsor. I just like the brand, the like I like what Forest did, for example. I like that. Just the badge and the brand, like who created the kit. I'd like to see Man United do that. I haven't seen that in such a long time. I think it'd be really nice, but again, that's
The
just
most
preference.
frustrating thing with it, though, is it's all about money at the end of the day, and some of these
of course.
sponsorships bring in about 20-30 million
No, it's true.
at the absolute
agree.
most of it. So, in some aspects, there's just no choice for some clubs.
Yeah, it's true. I do agree. I just like that. Look. I like the old Barcelona way of just the Nike badge and the Barcelona crest. It was lovely, but even like Real Madrid for a while did it as well. Like there was one season where Real Madrid done, I think it was 08-09, I think, or it was 09-10, where they just had the Adidas badge and they had the Real Madrid crest, and it was so clean. It genuinely looks so nice. But
I think it was 08-09 because Ronaldo joined, and I just remember Ronaldo in that Buin kit.
Yeah, those are so iconic. Like,
it was
prime
Ronaldo.
2010s.
I think it was either 08-09 or 09-10. No, it would have been.
It was before Ronaldo. Yeah, it was definitely before Ronaldo.
He did do it once, so I'm sure he did. But that's that circumstance.
For European games, Real Madrid did it,
and it was nice. Like it's nice.
I remember Galatasaray away 2013. So clean.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
The white of Real Madrid with the blue collar and stripes. Less is more.
Yeah, simplicity is key,
and
that's just how it looked. But yes, that's what I'm thinking. But yes, so Motta, I know where I'd rather Motta go, but he's up. He's definitely on the list. I think we'll all agree on Motta.
Yeah.
So Motta for Barcelona. Nathan, you take that down. Did you note them all down? Be easier.
Mm-hmm.
So Barcelona, Thiago Motta. Sorted. We'll go for Bayern. I originally thought the Stuttgart manager, but he's now re-signed his contract. So flat at the bat, I'm saying Xabi Alonso.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Just because I think he's got his writing on the wall with Liverpool.
I hope he's got a bigger brain than what he's already got, and he says no to them.
Plus, if he has sense as well from, if we look at the last couple of Hansi Flick, a big example, Thomas Tuchel, the amount of these German managers, Nagelsmann, another one, Bayern Munich is basically like putting yourself in for the slaughter and just completely killing your credibility that you built up in the Bundesliga for all these years. True. I genuinely think that Bayern need to look elsewhere, go abroad.
What are you thinking?
don't know.
Nathan's right about that point, though. They kept changing managers 2 years. Ancelotti went, Niko Kovac went in their
That's
second
because, to
season.
be fair, Bayern fans didn't like the fact that when they were winning games, they weren't dominating under Ancelotti. They didn't dominate anybody. That was something they didn't hate. Kovac was the same. They just didn't dominate games.
But see, Ancelotti was more direct than Pep, and they'd been used to Pep for 3 years with possession football.
They still wanted Ancelotti to play direct play. They just wanted to dominate games. Like the Leipzig game, the 5-4 was a prime example of they did not dominate that game at all.
As a potential
But they
angle,
had
though,
Did
wouldn't
they
it be
not have a
better
bit
if
of an
Bayern
aging
go more
defence,
direct?
I'd like Bayern to go more direct because it means Bayern Munich would stop playing an incredibly high line, which would change the transition of the league.
Yeah, that's the exact reason. And he keeps coming into my head. I don't know whether he'll fit or not, or kill his credibility like the other managers, but Diego Simeone, he would work wonders with that squad.
Actually, look at he's really good. Like people think he's such a boring manager, but if there's one thing that Simeone is really good with, similar to Mourinho in his prime, similar to Allegri, you give them a specific type of flair player or attacking player, like technical work, they turn them into some of the best players in the world. Let's be real, Antoine Griezmann became, for 1 or 2 seasons, he was genuinely, you could say, the third best player in the world at one point.
Imagine what he could do with Jamal Musiala.
If he doesn't leave, best attacking midfielder in the world.
Yeah.
You'd eclipse Bellingham. And I think
But the
Bellingham's
question
amazing.
is, how would he fit in a 4-4-2 system, though? Because looking at the
I've-
way that Musiala plays, and just sort of the way he is, I don't know whether he could work in that system.
He's
He's got to
wingers
play
and
as a number 10.
He could cut out the 2 wingers and play them as 2 wide 10s and just go 4-2-2-2.
Yeah,
could
but
do
then
that.
if he shoved out wide, he could struggle and get isolated.
Musiala's been excellent in that system, though. He has been
Even
excellent in that.
Musiala as a CF next to the striker.
No, I don't think he would be. That's too far forward for him. I think he's better off like just a little bit deeper, like when he is an attacking midfielder, but he's not so far off.
Yeah, for me, just seeing a front line of Musiala on the right, Harry Kane on the left, that screams weakness.
He could play a 4-2-3-1
overrun in
to
midfield.
be fair. Simeone could play a 4-2-3-1 if he wanted to.
But then again, are we seeing another Ten Hag principle where, from what he built at Atletico Madrid, just abandons his principles for the best of that squad when it could be a disaster, when he doesn't know how to use it properly?
I think if he gets a solid base implemented in that team and it's to his way, I think they could still play his way. It's just he's made a formation change. Because let's be real, he did abandon the 4-4-2 at one stage to win the league with a 3-5-2, and the system didn't change. Like the system changed, but the elements of play didn't change. It was the same way. It was just they had an extra man in midfield, a lesser man in defence. I think it's certainly possible. I think if you had done the 5 in midfield with a 1 striker and a 4 in midfield, you could see something. I actually would like to see Simeone manage manage Bayern. It could be very scary. I think they've just scored again. I think Chelsea have just scored. Yep, Chelsea are leading 2-1.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, 2-1 has just come up on mine. Cole Palmer.
He got the assist as well. Summons came out from United District less than 10 minutes ago saying Julio Nagelsmann makes final decision on future, which we already pretty much know. He wants to make a decision.
He wants it done and dusted as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
I think we'll get it very soon. I think we'll find out very, very soon where he's going, and I look forward to it. So we didn't really get a name for Bayern. Obviously,
I can't think of anyone.
Simeone's a good shout. I don't mind that. Simeone's not a bad shout. I've gone for Alonso. Again, we all have to agree, so you can put the agreement on that one, Julio. You can suggest
For me, if this is my personal opinion on it. If we're going down the Liverpool route, I think Alonso goes with Liverpool.
See, I think that
That's
as
the most
well,
likely.
but I just
I
can't
have
think of
someone else.
I can't think of a different candidate.
I have someone
Or
else for
Bayern.
Liverpool. But I think if we go Simeone, that's intriguing. So Simeone, even though it's unlikely to happen, but it's very different.
I'm
Yeah.
all for going Simeone.
Okay. Liverpool, so Nathan says Alonso. I say Ruben Amorim. But I also think Ruben Amorim will be a top target for Chelsea as well.
See, I see it with Amorim. I can see it.
I think he's amazing. I think he's generally an amazing manager wherever he goes.
I think
he
he's
looks like-
brilliant.
He's very clever. Managerial-wise, he's very clever. Considering what he's achieved as well at Sporting.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought of another name for Barcelona. God damn it. And he's from Portugal. Damn it. Oh well.
Poichinchau.
Yeah. I saw links a while back.
He's a good manager.
Do you reckon Amorim could be a link to Bayern? I know obviously we've gone past Bayern, but is his name just as we just mentioned it?
For me, Amorim is one of those, like, sort of with the system. I don't know why I see a lot of Nagelsmann in him as well. I think he'd be one of the ones that Bayern pretty much chew and spit out straight away.
I think anyone that goes into Bayern, they'll do that too.
I think so, but you need... Yeah. I think that...
I think they buy in. I think they buy in
Amorim.
I think they buy in Amorim right away. I think they would, because he's done it with 2 clubs. He's won trophies with 2 clubs already.
Yeah.
He did win the cup with Braga as well.
But then again, he has been at Braga and Sporting.
I think that's good though, because it's a natural step up. You're going from the fourth best league in Portugal. You're then moving up into statistically the 3rd best team. He has been at Benfica as well. Obviously, he is a Benfica legend. He played there as a player, but he didn't do well. Theoretically, he didn't do particularly well. But he then he found himself at Braga. He found himself at Sporting. He's certainly a reflection, and he's done well based on who he's brought in. Players he's brought in and revitalised. He's certainly got an element of that. He could revitalise a few players at Bayern that are particularly shite right now.
I think they've got good players that would work in the system that Amorim plays now.
I think his 3-4-3 is a reflection of what Bayern need to do, because Bayern, when it comes to fullbacks, they're not particularly good. I think they'd be comfortable playing as wing-backs. Like, Alphonso Davies would go from the best left-back in the world to the best wing-back.
I do think
in a matter of minutes.
This scenario, moving back over to where we were linking in with Liverpool, I don't think the 3-4-3 works with the system he plays. I think it's just too transitional. And that Liverpool would need a good 2-3 year rebuild. Amorim at Liverpool.
I think the transition could be playing to their strengths though as well. So I feel like it might work to an extent.
I think the one thing that does give an advantage though at Liverpool is the fact that Klopp's already done one big thing for him already. He's already gave strong backups both for attack and midfield. All he theoretically has to do is
strengthen the defense.
Yeah.
Or turn it over, because the likes of Joe Gomez get injured too much. Matip is on his way out in the summer, I think.
Yeah. I think that's something that he would only theoretically have to do. I don't think he has a massively difficult job in terms of the name and stature and history of the club in question. But in terms of feasible job, it's more or less just ensuring the defence is fit and obviously the midfield is suited to his system. But we've seen that with what he plays. He plays a defensive midfielder type in Hillman, for example, and he plays a box-to-box player. So if he finds the right balance. He could put Szoboszlai theoretically back on the wing as well, instead of being in central midfield. But the midfield of Endo and McAllister right there for the taking, and then you find a long-term replacement for Endo, you're fine. Trent Alexander-Arnold
could play centrally, So it would
Yeah.
limit how much he would have
He
to,
has to run.
move.
Yeah. Trent Alexander-Arnold can't defend for the life of him, so him as a wing back is safe for him, and it lets him just focus on the attack, free reign. Andy Robertson can actually defend though, so you've got the wing back that can do the defensive and attacking work.
But doesn't Robertson play wing back for Scotland?
Yes.
You still press further up as well. I think the more I think about Amorim, the more I think it could actually work.
Again, I don't want it to happen, but so do I. I do think it does
No,
work.
of course. My one worry, obviously, with Liverpool, with whoever goes in, I've said it before, Klopp is a key component to that team because the way they are represents him as a guy. You take out the guy who it literally represents, you take out that key component, the way he galvanizes players and has always made maybe average players look good and good players look class.
Yeah.
I just think that
There's so
maybe
many
it's a worry.
nuances.
Salah won't be there.
Ability.
I think Liverpool will be stupid not to take Saudi money for Salah.
I think that's why they've already got those players signed already, because they see the writing on the wall. That's why they're being clever and they're working it. I don't know, but there's an element there. So yeah, I've gone Amorim. I know Nathan's gone Alonso. Julio, you've got cast and vote.
You see, I was with Nathan with the Alonso thing, but I just think that the more I think about Amorim, the more I think it might be a better fit.
Okay, that's fair. So it's 2-1 on that. Nathan, obviously, we did say we'd all have to agree. So are you sticking with Alonso or are you fine and switch him?
Oh, it's so difficult.
See, it would have been easy.
I can see Amorim somewhere else, though.
Yep. So do I. I think there's only one other club.
Yeah, Alonso for me. Let's go for it.
Okay, that's fine. We will now move on to Juventus. Now, I'm going to say one other name I've already said, but I hope he goes to AC Milan. But I'm going to say outright Thiago Motta. Because he is on the shortlist for Milan, Barca, and Juventus. He is on the shortlist for all three clubs. So, yeah, Motta I'm picking straight away. What are you thinking? I think he's got the balance and the blend they need.
I mean, personally, I think keep it Allegri, but if a change is to be made,
Juventus fans are angling for a change.
For me, I think Juventus will do what they've always done. They'll look internally in Italy.
Yeah.
I cannot see them looking abroad, especially after Allegri.
Yeah. And I think they'll look for progression for this young side. And I think another thing as well, no matter where he goes, I think the first signing that Thiago Motta makes, wherever he goes, the first sign he makes is Lewis Ferguson.
Yeah.
Because he's been fucking outstanding for him in that attacking midfield role. From Aberdeen to Bologna as captain, for goodness sake. Like, that's mental. I can picture a midfield of him already, of either Musa or Benacer with Loftus-Cheek and Ferguson. I can see that in Milan. I'd be alright with that. But I do think if it's not Milan that gets him, which I hope they do, if it's not Milan, I think it's Juventus that gets Thiago Motta.
Did we agree on Motta for Barcelona though?
Yeah, we did.
We did, but we could still technically theoretically put him in there. But I'm just saying I think it will be him. But another name.
I agree.
Just because I think I've always said he might end up in the job one day, but it depends on what happens for another team. But that's not club level. I've always said Zidane will end up at Juventus if he doesn't get the France job.
I thought that as well, but I don't know if the report recently that he'd only look at France, Marseille, Real Madrid. I don't know how much of that to read into.
He's always said he'd go back. He's always said he'd go back to, just like Simeone would always go back. Said he's always gone back to Inter Milan.
Would Deschamps be an option for Juve?
He's been there before.
Yes.
He's already been the Juve manager. I don't know if he'll return. Just like Conte, I don't think Conte will go back.
No,
No.
I don't think Conte will.
He's been and gone. I don't think he'll try it again. I think Allegri was just one of the rare breed, like Lippi as well, like a rare breed of one manager goes like and eventually comes back. Trapattoni as well. I don't see anyone else. But another weird one because he's not in a job yet, and I actually do. And he has said he would like to stay in Italy. But he's already eyed up one job. Could we see Mourinho at Juventus?
I thought about Mourinho, but I don't know. On the one hand, I can sit here and say his affiliation to my Inter and all that, but then obviously in football, affiliation doesn't matter after a while.
Especially to Jose Mourinho. It's so crazy what he can achieve with Juve with the squad they actually have, plus what's coming through. He's got a lot of really good players there, plus players out on loan that could come back at the end of the season.
Yeah.
The options he has is fucking scary. And I doubt he plays a back three with Juventus. There's no I think he only played back three with Roma's because he had no choice. He'll definitely get to enjoy a back four with Juventus and actually be really good. I did not know that.
No, I didn't know it either. What the hell?
That's mad. I did not know that.
Agreed.
Not against me though. But yeah, it is a very good system. But that is mad. Anarim was under a management program with Jose when he was in Man United. Fuck. Bastards. To be fair, so was Villas Boas, and obviously so was Sergio Coenchao. Aye, send me that photo so I can take a look. Cause fuck me, that is so cool. I genuinely did not know that. You learn something new every day. So
I think Motta is probably the likely name. My only issue with saying Motta is because we've already said it for Barcelona.
Yeah, we have said it.
So I don't know whether it would be worth just.
What about?
I think with Juve, to be honest, our best bet is sticking with Allegri.
I was going to say, I know they're angling for a change, but
it backfired last time.
It did.
I've always rated Allegri. I don't know why people don't rate the guy. They're fucking stupid. There's actually one other manager I was thinking of. In terms of sticking with eternally within Italy, they have been better this season. What about Vincenzo Italiano? He has definitely made Fiorentina a whole lot better this season. I mean, there's a key element why. There's no Amrabat. But they have been so much better this season in terms of like what he's coached.
I don't know.
Holy shit. And he still wore the sweaters. And he still had that fantastic beard. No, like genuinely Anarim looked cool. Still looks cool, but wow, I did not know that.
I appreciate managers who drip well.
He drips. To be fair, I think Portuguese managers have got the best drip.
I miss the days when Pep would wear suits. Now he's just out there in jeans and a City branded hoodie from the club shop.
Luis Enrique, to be fair, at Barca, really, but generally, but he's another manager that I've got coming up very soon. But hey ho. So, who are we going to go then for Juventus? We need to pick.
I'll probably say Motta. I think that's the more likely. I actually think Allegri will stick around for at least another year.
For me, we got to go Allegri.
I'm going here, personally. I've said it for a long time that I think he'll end up at Juve.
I think Zidane's going to go to Juve, but not yet.
Yeah.
I think
I agree.
I think Zidane's last club job is Juventus, and he wins them the Champions League.
Or back to Real Madrid if Carlo Ancelotti leaves.
No, he won't go back for a third run.
He is finished at Real Madrid.
I don't agree.
If he goes back to Real Madrid for a third term, then he will ruin everything about himself. Because that second time was lucky. A third time will not work. There's no way.
I think it will, because there's more Galacticos in this one than the second time.
That's why it won't work. His second team wasn't about Galacticos. His second team had a team built in ethic. The first one was definitely full Galactical. The second team wasn't. It's not going to work.
Yeah,
To be
so
fair,
that
would
But
be
the
cool.
first time around, the first time is there. It was Galacticos based.
Yeah.
Not going to lie, this would be a brilliant link up. But
These again.
yeah, I just don't think it happens, and I don't think it would work third time
Zidane
round.
to Juve happens, just not yet. I think Zidane to Juve would be perfect if the next manager they get starts them winning again.
I think
Whether
if
it's
Juventus,
Allegri now or
he's not been in the game 3 years, he's ready to come back. I think if Juventus generally go, right, we want you now. In the summer, we're ready to bring you in. We want you as our manager. What do you want? He'll be like, this is what I want. Boom, they're in. I genuinely think they'll get it. I genuinely think they'll get him.
what's this?
Nothing
Oh.
important.
May sent me the photo as well. Thank you.
But yeah, that's one thing. So I'm going.
Sorry,
with
can I just make a quick point about this photo? The best of Jose, right, was when he was wearing suits at United. When he was happy and wearing suits, that was good. But then when he was wearing tracksuits, it was always miserable, and it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
you'll never guess who's fucking scored for Chelsea.
Nicholas Jackson.
Oh my
Mud.
god, I've just seen it.
007 has scored for fucking Chelsea. Mikhailo Mudryk has scored.
Is he playing in the
What has
10?
happened to Newcastle this season?
I fucking love it. Exactly. Maisie's like, who? Mikhailo Mudryk has scored for Chelsea.
Fair play.
Cashier number 4, please. The barcodes are getting beat. Fucking hate them.
Where are we at? Who do we think it's going to be?
We need to make a cast and vote. We need to decide. I've
So
said
what are the
Zidane.
options then?
I think it's Allegri.
We can stick with Allegri. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I think it's Allegri.
Okay, we will
Yeah,
stick with
let's
Allegri.
go for it.
So
I think Zidane happens, just not now.
Yeah.
don't know what's worse, Geordies or Chelsea poshies. All of them. All of them. So we have 2 clubs left, I believe. Man United and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
United is probably going to be a long discussion. So let's tear Chelsea apart.
Oh, and Liverpool as well.
We've already decided on Liverpool, I think.
Yeah, we
Oh,
have
yeah.
Alonso.
Yeah, we did,
Alonso.
didn't we?
I think. Sorry, Maisie, I need to say it. I think it's Ruben Amorim for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Even though I said him for Liverpool, I think he's. I just think it seems it's Chelsea, you know. Chelsea like Portuguese managers. I just think it. I said Liverpool because I think it's another possibility, but I think it'll be Chelsea.
Also, saying that
Right,
as
young
well,
manager coming out of Portugal. Chelsea do
And-
go for that.
not only that as well, Chelsea love a back three.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
And look at where all their successes come from.
Mhm.
Apart from the odd period under Ancelotti or Jose, it was definitely a back 3.
Absolutely.
That
Maisie-
Ancelotti side,
Ma-
Jesus, he made them so attacking.
Maisie's gonna kill us. Maisie is purely gonna kill us all.
The rage. So that leaves us with Man United.
I love the fact that we just went Chelsea, just straight up Amorim, and then that's that.
This is what we've got. 27 people now watching. Thank you very much. come along and join us. Come along onto YouTube. 22 people on Twitter. Come over to YouTube. Go to the
Get your
Football
comments
Podcast
in.
on YouTube.
We want to hear your
Get your
thoughts.
input.
Is there a name that we haven't mentioned that we feel like should be?
Anareem tactics, I see. Anareem tactics. I have 5 names for the Man United job. 5 specific names for the Man United job.
I have 3, I think.
I have Allegri, Simeone, Nagelsmann, Flick, Simeone, and Inzaghi.
Okay, I have 4. Inzaghi is the 4th one. The other ones were Nagelsmann, Flick, and, as I've already mentioned many times, Ancelotti.
Mm-hmm.
I know
it's
too easy,
but as an outsider within the league, because I do like him. Actually, I've got 2 outsider names. One's Valverde. I really do like Ernesto Valverde.
For me, Valverde's a no.
I like him for what he does at other similar levels of clubs. You know, like I like what he does, but like what he's done at Bilbao, what he did at Barcelona as well. Very, very organised setup. Played really good football. Ancelotti is a great shout. Got no issue with that. I'm just not sure if we actually do it. The other one is Unai Emery. I do rate Unai Emery, but Ancelotti would be a very strong option for United. The question is though, is they failed to get him 11 years ago. Would they actually succeed in getting him now?
I think he'd think about it. Because one thing I always worry about Ancelotti is he seems to be one bad season away from getting the sack. There's always that worry with Real Madrid, last time he was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the key thing that he got sacked was they didn't win the league. They lost the Champions League. They didn't retain the Copa del Rey. They were top of the league at Christmas. Ronaldo firing on all cylinders. They were unbeaten till Christmas. And then not only did they lose all of that, they all lost all of that pretty much to Barcelona in the end with that MSN treble. So obviously Perez sees that. That's why
I'd also consider Luis Enrique. I've always liked Enrique, to be fair. Ancelotti, if he was available tomorrow, I would take him.
Yeah, I think Perez saw that and thought, on Ancelotti's watch, we lost everything to Barcelona.
Yeah.
So he almost hit the panic button. I think the other thing with Ancelotti is, I've already mentioned earlier tonight, it's obviously what he does. Like, when you look at Chelsea, for example, it was that Chelsea side, Ancelotti was brought in to give them an identity. And it was known for it.
They brought him in to win the Champions League because he's the best manager in the Champions League, period.
True. Mm-hmm. But that Chelsea side needed an identity, and he gave them that in that first season. I think they scored 7+ goals 4 times that season.
Yep.
One of which was against Aston Villa, a very good.
Onslaught's a good shout.
Martin O'Neill.
That is a
very good Martin O'Neill.
Good shout. That's a seriously good shout, Arne Slot. I think when you look at, like, if I had to put my genuine top 4, like excluding my personal favourites, if I put a top 4 right now, Enrique, Ancelotti, Allegri, Simeone. Because I think right now, I don't care. I want Man United to bring an actual winner who won't complain, who will be, I want X, Y, Z, we're going to play this way, and that's the end of it. You won't hear Ancelotti complain about playing a 4-4-2 diamond or a 4-3-3. They'll just get on with it.
I think it's for some of these players, the way Ancelotti plays, it plays to their strengths.
I think that's the key. You know what's funny? He isn't even a tactical, you know what I mean? Like, he isn't a tactical manager. Like, he's a brilliant like man manager. But Ancelotti doesn't care about tactics. For him, it's purely he's going to play his way.
efficient football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
And
always
it's
going to win.
enjoyable.
And it's always going to win. Like, Enrique is slightly similar. Like, his Barcelona team was slightly similar. It's just like, yeah, we're expected to play tiki-taka, but we're going to add elements of a counter-attack and pressing teams, and we're just going to be direct instead of just wasting possession. That's why I prefer his Barcelona to Pep's. I prefer that 14-15 to that 4 years under Pep. I prefer that particular one season to 4 years.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
what-
give me that 04-05 version of Milan at fucking of Ancelotti. Just give me that, and you're fucking cooking.
even Chelsea under Ancelotti, that first season, whose record was it that Bruno Fernandes broke a few years back? It was Lampard's. And that Lampard record was under Ancelotti. What Ancelotti did was he gave Drogba, Lampard, even the likes of Kalou and Anelka freedom in the final third. Real Madrid, there's that fluidity, between Benzema, Cristiano, and Gareth Bale. He allowed fluidity in that attack. Everywhere he goes, he plays efficient but enjoyable football. And I think he'd be perfect.
See if you look at age as well, and this is very important for a manager. See if you look at age. Carlo Ancelotti is 65 in June. He's 10 years older than
He's only 65.
In June, yeah, he's 65 in June.
Do you know what?
He's been a manager since 1992, when he was the Italian assistant manager. But he's been a club level manager since 1995.
I think
for Regina.
Ancelotti as well. Big clubs. He knows what a big club is. He knows how to handle a big club.
Just look at this. I'm gonna actually show you his full. Will still could go to a top club. Yeah. Easily. I'm going to show you something. This is Ancelotti's, unfortunately it's Wikipedia, but it's actually accurate for duration. But look at in terms of length of job, obviously one club stands out for duration.
Yeah.
But look at the amount of years. Matheus Yasso is fucking outstanding, by the way. I rate Matheus Yasso, even though he's over in Saudi, he was brilliant at Salzburg. Dominic Tedesco, really good. To be fair, I like Nagelsmann from that ilk. I like Marco Rose, but Matheus Jasso's really good. But just look at the length of years there.
Do you know what I think, though? I mean, he had a couple of freak jobs in there, like Napoli and Everton.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot that he will also take a certain job because he's not afraid to do it.
But you know what? I don't think he's got much more to prove at Real Madrid. And I think if you give him 3 or 4 years at United, I think he'd consider it. Because the one thing as well,
I think he's achieved everything at Real Madrid now.
Could bring big players and the right players, and he knows how to handle all those egos. He had Zlatan at PSG.
And he kept a lid on him as well.
Show you this because obviously we've done it with Allegri.
Can adapt to certain players he's got and stuff, but he plays to everyone's strengths. He's had many different types of strikers in his career, and they've always balled, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think the reason for that being though is because when you look at Ancelotti, he knows he's not the best tactical manager in the world, but he knows he can implement a tactical system and it's effective, and he plays to he will play at a player's strength. I don't know why. It's because I clicked on something. Obviously, I was just hovering over something.
In a year and a half, he made Dominic Calvert-Lewin look like a £70 million striker. And some idiot should have taken Everton up on that, and Everton should have sold when they had the chance. He's not a £70 million striker. He's far from it. But in a year and a half, he looked good.
Look at this, by the way. This is Ancelotti's record. 1,328 matches, 785 wins, 297 draws, 246 defeats, 59.11 win percentage.
For the longevity of his career as well, basically a 60% win percentage is nuts.
Look at that win. Look at these win percentages right here. Look at that. That is mental.
And when you look at as well, some of that 2-year periods, Chelsea, they panicked. Bear in mind, when
Yeah.
Chelsea won the league, it was an aging squad, and it was 2 years away from finishing 6th in the Premier League, sacking Villas-Boas, and maybe even arguably fluke in the Champions League. I know they
This
won
was
it,
one of-
but
This is one period of managerial that I really do like. Apart from obviously this, and I liked his Bayern team. I really liked what he did at Juve. The fact that he still won a league title with a midfield of Motta, Verratti, and David Beckham.
Yeah.
Like, still.
and he left PSG because Real Madrid offered him the job, and he said yes, and that's why Ferguson couldn't get him. Ferguson went to him, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I've already said yes to Madrid." If Ferguson got Carlo Ancelotti on board, maybe Woodward wouldn't have looked as bad as he did with all those franchise big name signings.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I wonder if
Because
I can
Ancelotti
find...
knows how to handle big
Can I
names.
I don't know why it doesn't show.
Bayern Munich sacked him. Napoli sacked him, but Napoli was a bit... And then he went into Everton, and he left them for Real Madrid. Zidane was benching Vinicius Jr. We weren't seeing the best of Vinicius Jr. Ancelotti comes in, and now we're
best
seeing the guy that they put so much faith into.
It's incredible. Look at this as well. So I'm going to skip his player honours because we don't want to see that.
He's a serial winner.
Yeah.
He'd
There's
be
the there-
perfect.
There's the honours right there.
One
Starts
big
from...
right. A debate in the fan base is who's been United's best manager since Fergie. Half the fan
Mourinho.
base look at half the fan base say Mourinho because he won
It's no,
things.
there's no
But-
debate. It's Mourinho. Like,
No. Right, Reece. Maybe in your eyes there's no debate, but you can't say
there
there's
is-
no debate when two
there
people
is.
are arguing. That's their debate. It's not your
There is
debate.
no debate.
But people say
No,
Ole.
there's no debate, and I'm going to prove it. There's no debate, and I'm going to prove it right now. Let me just stop sharing for 2 seconds. I'm going to prove
Oh
why
my
there's no
God.
debate.
No, I'm not saying, Reece, I'm not saying it's up for debate. You're missing the point. I'm not saying it's up for
There
debate.
is no point. There is no
But
point. I'm going to
fans-
shut it down.
What do you mean shut me down? I'm not saying it's up for debate.
No, I'm about to prove a point.
I'm
about
saying
how
the fan
stupid
base
fans are.
is always at odds about this, and people say Ollie because he played good football and stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Because they're stupid. Aye, because they're stupid.
With Ancelotti, you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, but they're also very stupid. I'm just going to prove one point, though. That's my say. That's
As a
just my
fan,
general point.
As a fan, I enjoyed it more under
Where
Ollie
is it? Where
because
is
it was enjoyable football to watch. But that Ollie
Yes.
and
True.
there were. Put it this way: Ollie's second place was not as convincing as Jose's. I've watched back both seasons fully. Ollie's team had always the potential to mess up somewhere, to bottle it somewhere.
No, that's true. That is true. I was just trying to look for one particular thing.
Jose's
That's what I'm
4-0
looking for.
FC. Put it this way: if Jose 0405 was
Alright.
available, I would say get Jose now.
Yeah, true. Where's that fucking quote? There it is. Thank you very much.
I don't
That's
think he
what I'm
did.
looking for.
Maze, I don't think he did. I think Jose had a worse squad.
Nah, I generally think. I generally think he had a.
Jose
he
had
a
them
mu-
playing better, but I think he had a worse squad.
When you look at names, there was so much.
Thinking
better players.
about it, when Jose first
It's
came
not
in
about
as
what's
well.
wrong with. It's not about what's wrong with Ollie. It's one quote I'm about just to show. When you look at what people actually look for and what people expect, it's right there.
Of course.
That one quote.
Mhm.
I don't think he had a team good enough to challenge for the league.
Mourinho definitely didn't, and the
He
fact that he got second with
overachieved
it
with that
was
team.
fantastic. But honestly, with the Solskjaer teams and everything, and for example,
They
I
should have
Fernandes,
done
loved
better.
the football we played.
I
under
can
Ollie.
literally go
But-
until tomorrow morning about how much of a
We
failed
should have
manager
won in
and how bad he
Gdansk.
was.
We should have won
Ole
that
Gunnar
Europa
Solskjaer.
League final, even without Maguire. Ollie
Yeah.
got the team wrong. He played a severely out of form Rashford instead of Pogba
Yes.
on that left hand side when Pogba was balling in the build up to the final, but played Pogba deeper. And then with putting that, you've got all your match winners on the pitch and no one on the bench to bring off. Not to mention that team sacked off the last 5 or 6 games of the season. They got I think 2 wins out of the
I
final
think
5.
there's another thing as well. Is Ollie never had the mentality to go and win. Like he's done the same thing as Pochettino about trophies.
That's what would have happened. Even if we had a competent board, we wouldn't have done any better than Pochettino Spurs.
To be fair, the only reason why he went to penalties is because Marcus Rashford played 120 minutes and Pogba got substituted.
I've always said I know you can blame De Gea about not saving penalties, but I'm not being funny. If you're having to rely on David De Gea hitting a don't miss it penalty, something has gone wrong somewhere way before that. Not even in the shootout.
It says a lot when you're getting to a show and you take off one of your best penalty takers. Like, everyone knows that Pogba was a penalty machine, and you take him off. He wasn't even unfit.
Can I just say something about Mourinho's second place team, by the way? You know, we joke about if City get stripped of their titles and we look at who's eligible for winners' medals if they were to give it to United that year, which they won't do, but...
It's the worst watch-along I've ever done in my life. That fucking
Jones, Smalling, Rojo, Young playing at left-back, Zlatan pretty much with only one leg, a broken Alexis Sanchez, Mkhitaryan, Scott McTominay, and Matteo Darmian, all eligible for winners' medals.
Not one of them are bad players either. According to our fans, they are. Our fans think Darmian's a bad player, yet he's in one of the best ball progressive teams in football.
He's doing very well right now. But Jones and Smalling that season, Jones started the season well with Bailly, but Lindelof hadn't settled in. Bailly was injury prone. Towards the end of the season, Jones and Smalling were playing a lot. Mourinho didn't rate Smalling. He thought he was a coward defender. Phil Jones was just a dumbass. Zlatan was coming back from his ACL and he hadn't fully recovered.
One mistaken player we got rid of.
Zlatan was rushed back.
There was one player as well that we got rid of that we shouldn't have done.
What, Mkhitaryan?
Nope. Well, yeah, he's another one, but no.
Yeah.
Daley Blind. See, Blind went after, though. Blind was in that Mourinho second place team, but we shouldn't have got rid of him after.
Blind left, and then Ajax started winning trophies again. Coincidentally, Ajax do not know how to win trophies with or without Daley Blind. I think it's mental. If they've got Daley Blind, they win trophies. If they don't have him, they don't win anything.
De Ligt isn't that convincing without Daley Blind next to him.
It's because Blind is a better player than De Ligt.
Blind was the organiser in that centre-back partnership.
Just look at his record. All the seasons that Blind was at Ajax, Ajax won a trophy.
Even Lukaku Kardashian was playing in that team. Granted, he scored like 28 goals that season. But as much as
the fact that you're using my own prop here is insulting.
I think it says it all.
Find your own material. We should never have signed him anyway. I don't even want to go into that. But anyway, we have went off the track record. So,
Ancelotti's my choice.
Ancelotti or Enrique, I think, is the two prime examples of winning. But Ancelotti, I've got no issue with that at all.
Maze, get in the comments.
That was a proper midfield.
For 6 months under, for 3 months under Solskjaer till he stopped playing Herrera. No, it wasn't Jose, it was the board.
Jose wasn't even in the job either. It was Solskjaer.
Solskjaer just in his caretaker period, but Herrera.
But don't worry. It was Solskjaer that renewed Jones's contract. One of the funniest things I've seen on Twitter. That one fucking line. We should never let go of Herrera.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think that's down to Jose though. It was honestly a case of Herrera wanted more money from the board because you had a bunch of people who weren't playing well on bigger contracts, and he was like, "Hang on, where's my pay rise?" And he never got it.
Yeah. It's a shame that Sanchez didn't work. That's the only thing that made me sick is that he didn't work. But hey ho.
It's because we've said before what went wrong with Sanchez.
Yep.
He should have played central. He had a good pre-season in the US for United.
I really wanted him to work. I've always liked Sanchez.
Played as a striker, scored goals in pre-season.
Yeah. He was good guy. A lot of people sacked him off, but I think it was a bad decision. I always thought he deserved a pay rise. I stand by that. We should never have got rid of Fred. I
We
said
got
in the
rid
summer.
of the wrong part of McFred. We actually can't do business properly, can we?
I literally said that in the summer we should never let go of him, and we fucking got rid of him. Oh, but sort of Fred shit. He does nothing. Fred works hard.
The big games. He came in clutch in the big games.
Look at his
against
record.
City.
Look at his record for Fenerbahce. The guy doesn't know how to lose. Genuinely, he does not know how to lose. But so, I think we're all going to pretty much agree. Ancelotti is the Man United choice.
Yeah.
So, run
I'll
through
go for it.
Run through it. We've got Motta for Barcelona,
Correct.
Allegri Juventus,
Yep.
Simeone for Bayern,
Correct.
Ancelotti Man United.
Yep. Then we've got Amorim for Chelsea and Alonso for Liverpool.
So there's our 6 managers, 6 clubs. Now we're going to determine who does the most successful in terms of trophies. I'm going to say off the bat, it comes down to Ancelotti or Simeone.
I think Ancelotti.
I think it comes down to those two.
I'm going to go Simeone.
I agree it comes down to those two, but I'm going Ancelotti.
It was not intentional. It's the Chelsea way. They love the Portuguese.
He totally meant it.
Did not.
Just because of what we've seen from Man United in the last 10 years,
Don't get me hate mail.
I've got to go Simeone. And the fact it is Bayern as well and how quickly he could turn it around and implement it.
Yeah, you can do that rapid.
And really make the Bundesliga adapt to him and add in this sort of new lease of life to it.
It would also definitely change things up for the Bundesliga. It will get a little bit implement of defensive solidity for the league, which would be really helpful. So it finished 3-2, Chelsea against Newcastle. Finished 3-2.
Yeah, Jacob Murphy got a last minute by the looks of things.
Yeah, that's true. Amorim does have a 30 million release clause. That's if he doesn't walk.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ancelotti or Simeone, if those actually happened as managerial roles, or who I'm thinking. So Julio says, Nathan says Simeone, which I think is fair. Julio says Ancelotti. Okay.
He nicks a few cups at least.
Now we need to Andy will succeed in Europe. Now we need to determine who gets sacked first.
Allegri.
Before we do. Quality.
Tweet of the night. Oh, where do we go with it? It's between two names.
I think Allegri gets sacked first.
I think one manager who I don't think would get sacked because I don't know if they'd be reluctant to. I think Alonso would be ruled out.
For me, FSG will keep him for a year. Minimum.
I think because he's so popular with the fans, because he's the only world-class player they've had in the 21st century, I don't think they'd let him go.
I think he gets at least 3 years.
And on top of that as well, I know they are in a bit of a rebuild partial with their midfield, but Alonso will be, because at the end of the day, you're going to have Salah going soon. Instead of the midfield rebuild, it's going to be the frontline rebuild again.
Even at the back, Van Dijk's not young, is he?
No, exactly. They're going to need a new lease of life there as well.
And the other defenders, some of them, all these other defenders get injured too much.
Yeah. Robertson needs cover. Trent Alexander-Arnold, you can't even call him a defender.
I think if he had the money to spend on that defence, what are the odds that the first 2 players he actually signed, or two of the first signings, is Grimaldo and Frimpong, who he's made the best wing backs in world football? It wouldn't surprise me if he actually went, I want these 2.
Yeah,
I don't think
he gets Frimpong. I think he'd rather get a centre back instead of Frimpong. Grimaldo, I do see. But I just think when you got Trent, and I think Connor Bradley will be a good understudy.
I think he'll want a little bit more.
No, I just think the way Liverpool spend, I think they'll prioritise other positions. Salah will go and they'll get money from that. But
Potentially.
I don't think he'll rate, I don't know, Jota could go, for example. Gakpo could go. That midfield needs a holding midfielder, and they're not, I know,
They'll
apart
figure
from
that out,
Endo,
though.
they're not cheap to come by. They
If
need
they
a
play
centre back and left back.
If they play the 3-4-3, they're not really going to bother about a holding midfielder.
No.
But in terms of Roger Schmidt, he's an okay manager. He's already at a big club. He's at the biggest club in Portugal. Let's be fair. Benfica are the biggest club. I do think Koichinchao will get sacked if they don't do anything. They've been really poor. Across the board, they've been really poor. I think it's finally catching up to him. And Diego Costa will... I think he is going to leave them in the summer.
Yeah.
I think he will leave. Third best club in Portugal is Benfica. Nah, trophies say different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Allegri goes first.
Not bad shout.
For me, it's going to be Allegri, and that's just because of the
Juve.
impatience of the Juve fans.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see him, Thiago Motta not far behind, especially if he doesn't use La Masia well.
I think he would, but I think that's a fair point. But La Masia is a fucking flop now anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's dead. Okay, here's interesting. This is just for everybody listening, which is 26 people. So please come over and hit the like button on the channel. Thomas Tinkle could get sacked too. Yeah.
It's Tommy Tickles. The name is Tommy Tickles.
That is so sad. This is from Hurst Class, so take.
I've been saying it for a year, Reece. It's not changing.
Yeah, you need sectioned. I'm only kidding. This is from Hurst Class, so take what you think of this. Ineos's decision regarding Erik ten Hag's future will be partly influenced by the cost of dismissing him as Manchester United manager.
I wanted to bring this up, by the way. You just reminded me.
I don't care how much it costs. If he has to be sacked, you just pay it.
True, but I also am thinking his contract runs out next year. If there's no obvious candidate now, what are the chances they keep him and just let him go at the end of next season? Just your contract's over. That's it.
You've potentially lost a year as well, though, on whoever you want as your manager. You've lost a big year.
But I don't know.
And is it worth risking another year when fans aren't actually interested in Ten Hag anymore? Because a lot of fans don't care.
There's no way Ineos are looking at this and thinking, do I want to give £150 million of a transfer budget to this guy with all this that's going on?
Well, this next comment sums it up. A host of intermediaries have started touting their clients for the Man United manager's position, but there's a feeling in some quarters at United that it would only be fair to Ten Hag if you were judged once the new owners have their preferred structure in place. So they're saying if there's a new structure, does Ten Hag get a chance to redeem himself?
Based on what Ten Hag was when he first came in,
he's already lied about how he wants to play. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would have liked to see him under a proper structure, and it's quite worrying when you're saying I'd keep the manager I've got with all these losses, because a lot of the names on the actual shortlist I wouldn't trust. Like when you're seeing the Gareth Southgates and the Graham Potters of the world being linked with a job this big.
I hate the fact I said his name too many times last week.
Yeah, so I think it's quite worrying, because the problem is when you're not winning games, people look at the style of play to fall back on, which we obviously have discussed that, style of play, like people's perception is a problem in football, but it's not. The style of play, it's not obvious. It's worrying.
By all means, go ahead. Who are you thinking?
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping you say Stefano Pioli. Because he's 100% going. Even if Milan win the Europa League, he's still going, thank God.
Yeah.
Roma, by the way, better not make the mistake of hiring De Rossi.
I don't think they will. I don't think
they will either, but I just hope they don't. Do you know what I mean?
I still think they'll land Conte. I still think they want him. See what Maisie thinks.
Where's Kovac
He is
now? Is he?
shot.
Is he at Monaco?
He is pish. Niko Kovac. He is massively flopped. He's still coaching, really well, but he's just crap.
Oh, is he at Wolfsburg
Like-
now? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. They are looking at candidates, by the way. This goes back to a week ago.
Hmm.
He used to be rated so much, but he's completely fallen off a cliff. Bayern fully exposed him.
Hmm.
Like, let's have a look at the candidates, because this goes back to like
Oh,
One Football
God
have done this from a week ago. I think his ball's dropped again. Let's see. They are 13th in the league as well, which says a lot. So there's 4 candidates currently named to replace Niko Kovac. So St. Pauli manager Fabian Hürsler is one.
Mhm.
Thomas Rice, ex-Schalke. Bo
Yep.
Svensson, ex-Mainz. And Stefan Kuntz, ex-German under 12. Still the best name in football, Stefan Kuntz. I feel sorry for the guy, obviously, because it's literally like with a K. His name is literally in English, Stefan Kuntz. But he is generally one of like the most talented German players. He's just real unlucky by his name. He's a cult hero.
Hmm.
Kovac is a good shout though. But yeah. So
Kovac is the best shout for me.
now we've done that. What's happened? Right, fair enough. Understandable, Julio. We were going to do player forms. We've got 40. Well, if we're going to do 3 hours, if we're going to aim for 3 hours, who knows? We'll skip player form because I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Now, Maisie's already brought one. We're going to bring up another name very shortly. Amad Diallo is the first name.
Mm-hmm.
Alvaro Pacheco, yeah, he could. Amad has removed Man United from all of his socials. He's not getting games. He's not getting minutes. He's been constantly overlooked. When he can play in multiple positions, Ten Hag is not giving this guy any opportunity.
I think it's come to light as well after last season.
This
Or
guy,
obviously the loan
for
at
the life-
Sunderland.
even Palestri as well, obviously he's at Granada, but even still, when you look at if you want to play direct wingers who can play
Mhm.
and can actually utilise the ball well, the likes of Palestri didn't get any chance in Man United. When he actually came off the bench, he was actually he looked really effective. Diallo ain't getting opportunities. What are we thinking about Amad? And is it time that United just admit, you know what, he is a talented player, but maybe he's just never going to get the opportunity at the club, and they should cash in on him? What are we thinking?
Cash in ASAP. In my eyes, at the end of the day, we saw how happy he was at Sunderland. We saw how he was just a cheat code in the Championship.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if Ten Hag absolutely does not want to use him, why continue to hold back and ruin his career when you've got... See, this is another thing with the narrative of Man United, is holding on to these players that don't want to be there and not use them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the ones who are trying to develop elsewhere, and in particular have been out on loan. Chelsea have done it for years. Man United are now starting to fall into that trap.
Agreed.
Sell in my eyes.
Yep. To
I
be
got
honest,
three
I
things.
like him, but I would.
I got 3 things here. Firstly, however many people are watching, they've literally just witnessed me try and drink from a bottle with forgetting to take the cap off. So that was embarrassing.
27 people to be exact.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Nice.
The numbers have been consistent all night. We've got 22 on X. We've got 5 on YouTube, including
Nice.
I'm one of them. Obviously, I've had us on all night for watch hours.
No worries. Secondly, quick question back to the managerial thing that I
No,
forgot to
we've
ask.
moved on.
Who do we think will be the most successful?
Most successful. Ooh.
I think it'll be Ancelotti or Simeone.
Over
Yeah.
time, it'll be Simeone.
Longevity wise, do we reckon?
Thiago Motta.
From what
Or
we've
Simeone.
seen under FSG, Alonso.
Potentially.
Thirdly, on the relevant topic of Amad Diallo, I really
Well,
like
he's part of
Diallo.
the he's part of the topic, but he is a question that's brought up.
Yeah, I really liked him. I've been one of the advocates where I think he needs to get a run of games going. That's what I think he needs to really show what he's about.
But-
Championship's not an easy division to do it in. I can't lie, for some players. The problem is, I don't think he's getting enough games. But
Oh, behave.
fair enough.
How insulting.
Yeah, whatever.
I've got taste.
I wasn't.
Anyway, carry on.
I don't know. I'm
Struggling to hear you.
more.
Yeah, your mic's on.
How about now?
That's better.
I think annoyed is the wrong word.
Mhm.
I'm disappointed Ten Hag hasn't used him more, because I actually think with what I thought Ten Hag was going to implement, I thought Ahmad would have been perfect, especially when you've seen who has played on that right wing for us, and
Even the left wing.
even the left wing. Yeah, inconsistencies. I think it's our backup left winger is the best right winger we have currently, from what it seems. If you think about it, I don't know. I want to see more of Ahmad. I don't want to I don't want to personally cash in on him, but I think that if a Leicester come up and put in a good offer, I think he would do well there. So I think that, unfortunately,
loss on
it's
him.
likely.
We're making a loss on him either way. We're not getting 37 million back. We're getting 15
No, we're
to
not.
25. We're getting 15 to
not.
25 million for him.
And if we get, I was going to say, we're not getting above 25 million, and some of that will be because of that championship season.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm disappointed that he was refused going AFCON. He was refused a loan move in January, and he's not
I
getting
think
games.
it's time. I think he'll know in himself the writing's on the wall. Like, Ten Hag is just not interested in using him at all. I think it's time to cash in and just let him go. I don't have any issue with the guy at all. I just feel sorry for him. He's not getting any chance to play. What's the point of him being here? He generally is being wasted.
I want
And
to
if
see him
you're-
get a Premier League move.
Yeah.
I
But the
think he'd be
question
good.
is, though, where does Diallo fit?
Fulham, Palace,
For me,
Everton.
screws Palace.
I would have even said West Ham had they not
You-
had Kudus and
what's
obviously
mad?
there's uncertainty with
Yeah.
Moyes
I
as
would
well.
I would do sort of a similar direct swap where we have to include money. I would say we swap him for either Elise or Eze. I mean,
That
I
won't
want
work for me. Mainly
think-
just because of value.
No, I'm saying
It'd have to be
exact value.
Elise or Eze and money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We may have to include money, which
It
is
won't be a
fine.
direct swap. It'll be about
Yeah.
30-40 million maybe.
Or I like him at Sporting. We offer Diallo for Edwards. One of those three, I wouldn't mind. And then I think Diallo would be better going to Port. I think either Palace or Sporting would be good for him, and we get one of those wingers because that's who I would take. I would take Elise and Eze from Palace right now, plus Edwards. I'm that greedy. I would take them.
It's all about money.
To be fair, Mays wouldn't be saying that about Edwards if we were getting Ancelotti, because like I mentioned earlier, with the recruitment side of things, they would look at Premier League as a place to get. Our right wingers in 5 years could be Elise and Edwards, for example.
I think the mad thing is, though, is that Ancelotti would like some sort of young upcoming talent to put into his team right away that he would build on, like a Jal Neves and Kobe Manu.
Yeah.
Like he's already done that with Arda Güler and Bellingham. Like the guy scored his first goal for Real Madrid, won him a trophy. He didn't even celebrate. He's like, he's just completely like, that man knows. Like Arda Güler, I've rated him for a while. I really liked him in Turkey, and I was like, Milan, you better sign him. But then obviously Madrid got him, and he's like, he scores his first goal, wins a trophy, and he does not give a shit. He's like, I'm moving on. Proper mentality. Yeah, I like Pedro Gonçalves, but he's regressed, unfortunately. So no, absolutely not.
Ancelotti had Thiago Alcantara at Bayern, may I add. So having him with Manu.
Rangers don't need Antonio Adam when they've got Jack Butland. Behave.
No. I like where this is going.
I don't. Fuck off.
No, I see what Maze is saying here. This is elite suggestions.
These are elite suggestions for Man United, by the way. Adan and Pedro Gonçalves. No. Adan was shite at Real Madrid, shite for Sporting. Pedro's regressed. No, thank you.
Adan is a backup.
Adan can kiss my ass. No thanks. He's pish. Fucking tactical. That's what Maze is doing. Bad tacticals. Sancho. I did say we were going to talk about Sancho.
Yes, you did.
I called Marcus Rashford last week or the week before. I said Marcus Rashford, for one season, he's like Darth Vader in Rogue One. The other season, he's like Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi when he gets disarmed. Jadon Sancho is literally Darth Vader when he gets burnt on Mustafar. His career is complete. His career is fucking scorched. And I'm saying this now. He's now obviously blaming Dortmund as well. Like,
but then again, how can he blame Dortmund when all of the attitude issues are on himself?
Yeah,
that's the thing I want to know.
Yes, it's Dortmund and Ten Hag's fault that he stayed up on his Xbox till 3 a.m. and that he couldn't beat a man, and then he lost ability. He's lost mobility. He's been.
To be fair, he couldn't beat a 16-year-old at FIFA, and he can barely beat his man on the field. Like,
yeah, because like we saw the attitude problems when he left Man City for Dortmund. We saw it when he pretty much forced through the move to United. And yeah.
Answer that question, Maze. No, they don't.
We really don't.
Cardiff do need that. Cardiff need more than a goalkeeper. They do need defenders, so Escal would definitely suit them.
No, to be fair, I'm still taking Gutas and Nat Phillips. What a centre-back partnership that is in the Championship.
Yeah. True. What are we thinking though, like in terms of Jadon Sancho, because he is
he's a waste. He's wasted it himself.
Yeah,
I have no sympathy for Jadon Sancho. Sure, football is tough sometimes, and maybe he's had issues mentally, right? Ten Hag gave him 3 months off. Ten Hag has given him every possible chance he can, right? And I understand his frustration that Anthony keeps getting picked. But if the manager sees his arse with you because you're not training well enough, if he's got 2 right wingers on poor form, he's going to pick the one that he thinks in training could do something. And unfortunately, he doesn't see it as Sancho. Ability-wise, compare the two, it's night and day. Sancho's a better footballer than Anthony. But realistically, Ten Hag isn't going to be playing Sancho when... Not just, obviously, Anthony is his guy from Ajax, but if he thinks that Anthony's training better, then of course he's going to play Anthony. And, I just... Instead of taking it on the chin and sorting himself out, he complained, and then Ten Hag banished him. I just find it ridiculous that there are fans that still defend Sancho.
But then again, if you look at the fans that are defending Sancho... Is it Man United fans that are defending Sancho or Sancho fans that are defending Sancho?
Sancho fans.
Exactly.
Sancho fans that claim to be United fans, listen, I loved Jadon Sancho at Dortmund, and I would have loved to see it. But now we're seeing why Gareth Southgate didn't play Sancho in the Euros, unless it was either Ukraine after he got his United move or for penalties in the final. We paid £70 million for what we thought was going to be a generational English talent, and instead we got given some Puerto Rican fraud called Jason Sanchez, right? Who has done the square root of fuck all at United. Right?
I didn't want him in Man United, by the way, even though I did
Yes,
say what
you
his
have
good
said this
qualities
before.
Yeah,
were.
you said this.
I didn't want him. I wanted him. Because at the time, he was absolutely insanely good. But Sancho was fucking flopped heavy. No wonder City never
And
played him.
I
in the Prem
think
either.
he's brought it on himself.
Yep.
I think Sancho's brought it on himself. That's why I have no sympathy. You reap what you sow. You literally did this to yourself. And you can blame Ten Hag as much as possible, right? Here's the one problem with Ancelotti, right? Sancho could come back and he could absolutely ball for Ancelotti.
No, you wouldn't.
I'm saying it's a
No, he wouldn't.
possibility. I'm not saying it'll definitely happen.
It's not. It's not. He would not under Ancelotti anyway. Like, Ancelotti would literally tell him to go fuck himself.
So I'm just reading Mace's comment about Paulinho Diomande, Quaresma and St. Just. But yeah, Sancho brought it on himself.
Quaresma's
I
decent.
have no
That
sympathy.
Quaresma's decent.
Okay. What other spirals are there?
Matt, there's a few.
Hmm.
We're going to talk about it to say I don't want Trincao. No. Don't rate him. One player. There is obviously another downward spiral that I want to talk about. Calvin Phillips is another one.
I think that's mismanagement of Pep, though.
Yeah, but he has completely dropped.
He has.
Like injury prone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Calvin Phillips is one of those players that you have to manage carefully. Similar to what Sir Alex did with Van Persie, or even on a lesser scale, what Big Sam did with Jan Kurtkov, where he managed them carefully because they were injury-prone players. When Van Persie maybe declined quicker than necessary because Moyes had him training as much as the rest of the team. That's why Van Persie had so many injuries in that second season. Van Persie needed careful management, careful training, and he wasn't given that. And I think Calvin Phillips is another one. Yes, I understand that with Pep, you have to train a lot. You know, Pep's not going to give like leeway to anyone.
I agree.
But I just think it was the wrong move for him.
Yeah, especially when he was, especially when he came up with that Bielsa side with Leeds. I just think towards the tail end of when he was going, Bielsa, I just thought Leeds were cashing in on him for me.
Yeah, it was. Leeds were smart.
Trashed it,
Unlike Everton with Calvert-Lewin, Leeds cashed in on their guy because it was only going to get worse for Calvin Phillips.
Yep. He made the wrong choice of club. I think it was I think it was an example of when we took Fred away from City, they took Phillips away from United. I think we really needed him a whole lot more than City did, especially in our midfield. It was so inconsistent. I think that's just what it was. Do not say a word, boys. Do not, or you'll be literally removed. I'm not even joking. I will drop your asses out of the stream.
He's not even the Yorkshire Joe Allen.
Good lad. Good lad. Upward though. Not you, them. You can call him whatever you want. You've been calling it for ages. I meant Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Upward spirals though.
You mean Ant and Dec?
More like Dick and Dom.
No, I think me and Nathan look more like Ant and Dec personally, but
I don't see it. I don't see it. Upward spirals though. Really good form, really good conversation. So we can definitely discuss a few, and I think obvious ones are continuously doing. Jude Bellingham and Jamal Musiala continuously are just getting better and better and better, those two.
Yeah.
And it just makes you wonder what the sky the limit is for those two, like generally in terms of like how far they can go. Like they're just phenomenal. Another one I want to mention, even though he's not played for a little while, I think he's been injured, Rico Lewis.
Good shout.
I think he's been excellent for City.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely shown themselves. Rasmus Højlund is another.
since he got that goal against Villa, it finally unlocked for him.
Yep, I'm saying Garnacho, and Maisie said Douglas Luiz and Ollie Watkins.
But even these are players who are improving. What about players who? Well, yes, of course. But what I'm saying is, what about the lesser names like Dom Solanke, who's scoring goals this season?
He is. Yeah, he is.
Dom Solanke could get 2 goals next season all season. You know, this could be a purple patch, for example. This could be a one-season wonder for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not discrediting him as a player, but history until now hasn't been in his favour for goal scoring. I know he had a good end to last season.
I'd also like to say, I would say, even though he's had a bad injury, Van de Ven.
Yeah, he's rocketed since he's gone to Spurs.
I'm going to say, I know I said him earlier on the stream, I'm going to say again, Lewis Ferguson.
Yeah.
100%. He's been brilliant for Bologna. He's back in good form. I'm going to say Rafael Leao.
Mm-hmm.
Porro, good shout. Good shout. Pedro Porro.
Yeah, Porro was a good one.
I worry about Martinez being a potential downward spiral because of his injuries.
Yes, I think that's fair. Casemiro and Varane are downwards. This one might shock you. Erling Haaland downward.
Yes, but like that.
Yep.
I think he's just hitting a rough patch.
Interesting.
Because what he normally does is he's the guy on the end of moves who finishes them. He's not really.
He's a tapping
There's
merchant.
not a lot more he can do. Tapping merchant.
Sort of a tapping merchant.
He is an elite tap-in merchant, to be fair.
I see what you mean, though, but I just think that if he was coached to be able to do more, he'd be excellent.
I'm not sure. I think he's quite limited. I'm going to say another one just because it's a particular league and he's been actual woeful. Big downward spiral. Lionel Messi.
I'd probably say that was age, though.
Even for a slow league, I'm expecting him to be worlds apart, and he's been average as fuck.
He's pretty good the other week.
It's quite rare for him. It's been rare for him though, in terms of performance.
Yeah.
Like, good performance has been very rare.
You wouldn't think that from the way they talk about him on social media, though.
Maisie's gonna hate this one, but it's I do think this one's true. Angel Di Maria's on the upward as well. He just he's been really good when he's been back to Benfica. I don't like the man personally, but he's been really good. And last two I'm gonna say. Actually no, 3. Vinicius Jr. upward. Lewandowski and Gundogan downward.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not sure who else. Actually, no. Bremer upward. He just keeps getting better and better. And then Xavi Simons right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Javi Simmons is looking really good.
Openda, quality. Upwards, Alanga.
I've got one for upwards
Go on.
based on stats. Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, he's risen a lot actually.
Scored last night.
Ever since leaving the Premier League, I think he's has gone like that. To be fair.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek has been outstanding as well
Yeah.
since he's moved on. He's been absolutely fantastic. I know Maisie would say Paulinho because it's scored, but
Yeah,
it's a
that's
fair
what I mean.
shout. It's a fair shout.
Kai Havertz.
No. Downward.
Yeah.
Downward. Florian
How
Wirtz is
so?
definitely upward. It's Kai Havertz. Fuck Kai Havertz.
Fair enough.
He's just shit. Victor Boniface is an upward.
A
Yeah.
lot of the Bayer Leverkusen players are. on the
Frimpong and
upward.
Grimaldo obviously the easiest.
Hmm.
Who else are we thinking?
Gyökeres.
Well, considering where he was a few years ago,
Come on,
definitely.
come on. It's an
Yeah.
upward, let's be honest.
It's
Whether
got
you
to
like
be.
him or not, it's an upward.
Yeah, considering what the way he used to be. Oh my. What else have we got? Who's like really coming around to it? God, I'm struggling to think.
Connor Bradley. Just from
Yeah.
Rice. Um,
Connor Bradley upwards. More sporting players in Gyökeres. Usman Diao.
that's it. I
Yep.
just said Connor
Yeah.
Bradley.
Yeah. I think
Nico Williams, yeah. Another one
João
for the
Ne-
comments.
João Neves,
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
even though he couldn't do it against Rangers, but
Hmm.
neither can most European players. It's
Mhm.
okay. Kyogo Furuhashi is definitely a downward.
Hmm.
Mhm, yeah.
In fact, the whole Celtic team, apart from Matt O'Reilly and Hitai,
I was going
Shabosh,
to say it's all on Brendan Rodgers.
Showboy downwards. Shabosh downward?
No, upwards, I'd say.
I was going to say, I think he's had a good season, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Conor Gallagher.
Somehow upwards, but now definitely downwards.
Shabosh not a pen merchant.
No, that's João Pedro.
He's a good player.
Hmm.
Here's one, obvious. Evan Ferguson.
I was about to say Evan Ferguson next.
Yeah, upwards.
I don't, not downwards.
No, downwards.
Maybe.
He's not playing.
He hasn't scored since November.
True.
I'm going to say a name for upwards, which may surprise. Go on. Jorginho. Says Maisie for upwards.
Yeah.
I think so. He's been really good for Arsenal.
Mhm.
I've not been impressed as much with Saka recently. I mean, he's played so many games, no wonder.
Yeah, true.
Anyone else you guys think of?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, not off the top of my head.
Theo Hernandez for me is a constant upwards. He just keeps getting better and better. Hakan
Yeah,
Çalhanoğlu. Hakan Çalhanoğlu is 100% upwards.
Oh, Mkhitaryan as well. Maybe you could put into that as
Yeah.
well.
Push, yeah.
Antoine Griezmann for the past 2 months is
Morata.
a downwards. Griezmann's a downwards from the last 2 months. He's had some really bad performances.
Mhm.
Morata
bad.
was upwards until he got his injury.
That Lamine Yamal, whatever he's called. Yeah, I think he's an
Lamine
upwards.
Yamal, yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure who else. Can I ask a question? Of course you can. What do you want to ask?
You just did.
It's true. Although, don't be snarky.
I can't help it when someone asks that. It's what I always say.
What's your thoughts on Paul Merson's comments about only 2 France players could only get into the England squad? I disagree.
Deluded.
Only 2 England players get in the France squad: Kane and Bellingham.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe 3. Actually, Declan Rice could force his way in.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think it's a weird. I don't know where he got the whole idea from. I thought it was really bizarre.
It's just English media overhyping England players and being stupid.
Yeah.
This is what I said the other day. Like, I like your squad, but some of it is mental. Saka gets in over Dembele.
Maybe not pound for pound ability wise. Like for Dembele is Dembele is an exceptional talent, and I don't think Saka is that. But Saka, there's a reason Foden didn't start as many games in the last Euros, and Sancho. Saka was the most consistent out of all of England's wingers at the Euros. Oh, and Sterling as well.
I don't think Rice gets ahead of Tchouaméni, so it depends on where you play him.
Yeah.
Does he start ahead of Camavinga? I'm not so sure.
You see, I think maybe Rice might be a bit more secure than Tchouaméni, potentially.
Maybe.
That's not saying Rice is better than Tchouaméni. I think either will be fine, but I think Rice, with the legs he's got, I think he'd just be a lot more secure.
You play alongside Tchouaméni, drop Rabiot. Okay, I definitely say this for a fact. Even a fully fit Luke Shaw does not get ahead of Theo Hernandez.
No, he doesn't.
Not a freaking chance. I would actually take Man United selling Shaw to sign Hernandez, even though it's from Milan.
Who would France have at right back then?
I'm not sure.
Would it be Koundé?
Potentially.
I think I'd rather have Kyle Walker.
Yeah, same.
You could say Trent, for example, but I just think Kyle Walker, pound for pound, obviously better defensively, and also in the bigger games against threats, Walker is the guy you'd want against anyone. Like Rashford really showed his colours in the derby. I don't know how Walker managed to get into his head so easily, but every time Rashford got the ball up against, or even was going up against Walker, he looked scared of him.
Yeah. Well, we definitely know that not a single England goalkeeper gets in this team, because Mainan is superior to every English goalkeeper.
Who would the centre backs be then? What partnership are you going for? It would obviously be French.
John Stones.
Oh, you reckon Stones would get in?
Wow.
John Stones gets in. Yeah, he's the best defender in football.
You didn't mention him earlier, that's why.
That's because I was expecting you guys to be smart.
Yeah.
John Stones, and I would actually play Koundé at centre back.
Ahead of Saliba, ahead of Upamecano.
Upamecano, yeah, I would. I mean, I rate Upamecano, but he's went down. To be fair, a fully fit Lucas Hernandez is the only thing, and Theo Hernandez has played really well at left centre back for Milan recently, but he's my starting left back.
To be fair, you could literally have either Hernandez at centre back and the other one at left back, couldn't you?
Could John Stones, Maguire? No, Maisie, no, no. Maguire
John
does not get.
Stones and one of either. I think John Stones next to either Saliba or Koundé.
I would
I know
probably say
Koundé
Lucas
plays a
Hernandez.
lot more, but
I'd probably say Lucas Hernandez, to be fair, just because
Yeah.
it's balanced, and they would complement each other really well. Yeah, let's actually do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's actually do that. Fuck it. We'll do end the show for 15 minutes. This is what we'll do. We'll actually do it. We're actually going to do squad builder.
sorry, how have we gone the whole show and not spoken about Cardiff City?
Because we are lovers of football and Nathan knows it.
Mm.
And that's why
You
we
should
didn't
at least
mention them.
be allowed to be happy about 4 in a row.
He is happy. No, Maisie, I'm actually kind of glad you've done this, because that's very interesting. It's very interesting. So I'm already taking initiative. It's definitely a 4-2-3-1. I don't care.
Mhm.
4-2-3-1 fits. You get your 6, your 8, and your 10, and your wingers in that.
So let's establish it. So since both of them, I don't care about the colours they wear. So it's by proxy. They're wearing black. I don't care. Like it's proxy. So let's establish. So I need to share screen, obviously. 1 second. And Maisie, you've been with us since the very beginning, so there's no apologies necessary. You've been great for comments tonight. Thank you very much. So let's establish this. We're actually going to debunk it. We're actually going to do who we think could be a combined 11 between England's current players and France. So flat out the bat, it's obvious mine in and goal.
Yeah.
And it's obviously Bellingham here.
Correct. Theo Hernandez, yeah.
Yep. And I think we said we'll put Stones there, and right back we'll put
Kyle
Yeah.
Walker.
So that's that. So let's see. Chilwell does not get ahead of
Nowhere
No.
near.
Hernandez. For me, he's the best left back in football. For
Yeah.
me, I know May's joking. For me, Hernandez is the best left back in football. If it hadn't been for having an inconsistent Euros, he would have been so much better. So, who are we putting as the partner to Stones? I think Saliba. Maisie did mention Saliba. I know you mentioned Saliba.
Saliba,
I would have said
unfortunately.
Lucas Hernandez, but would we go Saliba?
Just
He's been really good for
Saliba.
us. He's been
He's been
really,
I'd
brilliant.
really
love
good.
to see Saliba, but he hasn't played enough. I don't think. I mean, to be fair, he didn't really play that much in the World Cup, but they still had Varane then with Upamecano.
Mhm.
And for me, Upamecano hasn't been. Upamecano wasn't the best of that. That French 3 that Leipzig had. Konate was the better one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Maze has gone Mainan. That's her back 4, and she's pretty much established the midfield.
Yeah, I was going to say, like,
Mhm.
is Camavinga worth a mention though?
Possibly
left
is that
back.
holding midfield.
No, I think you have
No,
Rice
no.
and Tchouameni as holding. I think to be honest, Rice and Tchouameni have a very good balance there.
Yeah.
There's legs in that midfield. There's physicality. There's very competent ball playing. Very competent, like not destroyer, but they can win the ball back. I think it's a very stable midfield for whatever this front 4 is about to be.
I hate this freaking rubbish that they do for. There we go. It actually looks human now. So, hold a midfielder. I would say Rice, because then it allows Tuchumeni to be a little bit further forward, or as I call him, touch too many. So it leaves us the two wingers and the striker. Now, Maisie said Kane, Mbappe, Bellingham, Saka for that 4. I've already put in Bellingham because it's a given. There's only one other attack midfielder on his level for me, apart from De Bruyne, that's Musiala. But obviously, he's German. Alright, that's fair. I'll swap them round actually. It makes me a fair point.
Rice has the legs to be an 8.
That's what I'm doing. But who's on the wings? That's the question.
So one's obviously Mbappe.
One's obviously Mbappe. The best of Mbappe was on the left wing in the last World Cup.
Yep. Agreed. And to be fair, by proxy, he is the French number 10, so I'll do that. And that means I'll give... Yeah, it's only fair, which means Bellingham can get...
9.
No, I've already given that to Harry Bain, if he's the one that's picked. Where is it? Yeah. Just because he's cool. And he's the coolest player since Beckham for England. I'll give Bellingham the 7. Saka right wing or Phil Foden?
Saka.
Yeah, I think that dismisses Dembele. He's been really good though.
Yes, but it's just inconsistency.
And he gets injured too much.
Yeah.
He hasn't been injured.
I know
for 2 years.
I know it's a one-off team. Pound for pound, I think Foden's the better technical footballer than Saka, but I just think Saka's been more consistent and he puts up good numbers. I remember Dembele first breaking onto the scene for France against England, that 3-2 France win in 2017. And obviously going into the match, there was more hype, I think, for Mbappe than Dembele. But I remember coming away from that game, I was like, Dembele was just crazy. The guy was just had England on, like, just kept skinning. Mbappe missed a couple of really good chances, but
That was such a long time ago.
7 years.
Amad Diallo
Almost
has
7 years.
deactivated his Instagram and his X accounts.
Ooh, interesting.
Mere hours after deleting the posts.
Yep.
That's interesting. It's very difficult,
I think
this one.
consistency, to be fair, I would probably say it does go to Saka, but
Yeah.
as a weird shout, even though he's not playing in that position, he's just seriously good form. I also could have said Thuram.
Possible.
I would agree, but I'd have thought the best of Thuram would be as a striker.
That's the only thing.
Don't get me wrong, Giroud and Thuram as bench strikers would be sensational.
Yeah.
But I think it's between Saka, Foden, and Dembele. Dembele obviously got hooked, didn't he, in the World Cup final?
He did. For Kolo Muani.
Which was quite interesting.
He's fallen off a cliff.
I think consistency, you'd have to go Saka. I know he's not the best of the three, footballing wise. But I just think consistently you can't fault Saka. He went into the Euros as probably England's last choice winger, you know.
Yeah.
But he started pretty much all the games.
I think this is going to be difficult because I'm not, in terms of player, I know he's had a bit of a he's had a bit of like poor performances lately. But I'll be honest, that when it comes to striker, I know a lot of people are going to pick Harry Kane. In terms of the goals and all that, it makes a lot of sense.
But you got to have Griezmann fit somewhere as well.
I'm honestly picking Griezmann over Kane. I'm picking Griezmann, and it's not because I don't like Harry Kane or whatever. It's nothing to do with that. I'm being very unbiased when I look at what he's actually done. He's actually taken France to international success, and he's done it for club success as well. But he's also been consistent. His performances is just like recent this season particularly hasn't been particularly great.
Yeah.
I'd personally put Kane in. I understand the debate here with it, though. I understand your thought process, and you don't want someone who's bottled big chances and big moments for England in a team when you want to win.
If we had two up top, I would 100% have, unless we actually dropped it to two, because I think it's hard to not miss out on. I think it's hard to miss out. I'm going as a whole package. Like I'm going as a whole package. But if it's just off form, then 100% it's Harry Kane.
Yeah.
You see, the thing is at Bayern, am I right in saying Kane's entire link-up play is focused less now than it was at Spurs? Whereas Spurs, it became very much everything's going through me or to
That's
me.
true. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I think if it's just Kane focusing on goals, especially with Mbappe, Saka, and Bellingham, and even still, Kane could still provide for those names behind him.
Yeah.
Especially Mbappe and Bellingham. I think maybe you'd rather Bellingham took that final penalty, that second penalty against France, than Kane.
Yeah.
It's just
Mbappe was nowhere to be seen. But 80 minutes of the World Cup final, then had a penalty, and then suddenly turned up.
It's just very hard to leave Griezmann out of that overall for what he's done. Like for what he has consistently done for France in particular, he always turns up.
That's true.
Like,
I can't think of that. Euro 2016, World Cup 2018.
I genuinely can't think of a game that he didn't actually show up for France. I can't remember, and that's not deliberately. It's not me being deliberately trying to forget. I can't remember any games where he was actually bad.
I was going to say it was Giroud and Dembele that were hooked in the World Cup final, weren't it? Yeah.
Yep. Even Benzema as well is another we can feasibly include as well.
Yeah,
yes, but
he's still around the France squad. Griezmann doesn't even play as a striker. Not always. It's a fair point.
I think personally, I love Antoine Griezmann, and I agree with what you're saying. But I just think personally, I'd put Kane into this team.
That's fair.
Yeah, fair.
What are you thinking, Nathan? Again, I'm not
difficult.
like this is This is a fair democracy. It's diplomatic.
As much as it pains me to say it, unfortunately, Kane's going to have to go in there.
Only person competing with Kane should be Giroud. Giroud, even by then, Giroud's got a fantastic international record as well.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Not just
Giroud
for
would be
winning, but goals.
Giroud would be a great impact sub.
Watkins deserves to be there over
I
Griezmann based on form.
disagree.
Thuram is on form, goals wise. One, two, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually at the moment have 5 French players, 5 English players.
But that sentiment of only 2 of France's players get into our team, ludicrous.
Yeah.
And this is obviously unbiased. Like we've been very unbiased here.
Bellingham in that role, just freedom. You guys still can't decide yet?
No. I think it's got to be Kane.
Yep. I've been deliberating in my head. Like I'm trying to be fair. And technically, to be fair, like if we had Kane and no Mbappe, this team is delusional.
Yeah.
Like this would be like Julio going like through all the bloody memes in his head or references. If we didn't have Mbappe, then or Kane, to an extent, it would be weird.
That's a great team, though.
Yeah. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't care. Hernandez is captain.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair. Bingo.
Since it's
That's
Deschamps,
that.
it'll make it nice and compact.
Mhm.
Nice and compact. Still good that we've got touch too many instead of too many.
Touch too many.
That's what I called him when I first heard his name. I was like, nah. Too many. Nah, touch too many. Reece is exposing that midfield. I'm not exposing the midfield. I'm just separating them for position. I'm basically just saying, like, here's your number 6, here's your number 8, here's your 10, well, your 5, and then here's your front 3. I'm just splitting up properly. That's all.
We didn't even consider Coman, Kingsley Coman.
Because nobody
No, I
does
don't
in the
think
right.
he gets in.
Nobody in their right mind picks Kingsley Coman unless it's a club side and he's finished. He's always injured. If you want me to expose the midfield, I'll just put Calvin Phillips in there. Midfield is exposed. Harry Maguire. And Jordan Pickford with his T-Rex arms.
And have that waistcoat on the sidelines.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah, like it's Deschamps all the way.
Yeah, of course it's got to be Deschamps.
Only a lunatic would pick Southgate over Deschamps.
Or, English bias. I remember the
Paul
days
Merson
when
has no ball knowledge.
Mourinho's job was up in the air and people suggested Gareth Southgate to replace him.
Yeah.
And this was off the back of just one World Cup.
I remember one of the first shows. I wonder if Maisie remembers this. We're barely on his channel anymore, but I wonder if Maze remembers this. We used to do streams on Rich Sports Channel.
All right.
And there was an Arsenal fan who used to constantly troll us or in the chat, right? And he always said Southgate would be the Man United manager.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Constantly said it. Fucking mental though, but
Can't have that.
exactly, we can't have that.
Do you know what? If they ever got Southgate as manager, I think it would generally just be hold the fort for 2 years with Southgate until they find a name that think, yes, him.
Yeah.
No, it'd be getting Southgate to kill the fan base.
Well,
That's
maybe
what
maybe there are certain areas and people of this fan base we'll never see again.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it might be for the best,
Anyway.
actually. Bring me the waistcoat.
Yep. Anyway, we've gone 3 hours 5 minutes. So, to everyone that's watched, there is our combined 11. Next time we'll do something else. But in the meantime, thank you one and all for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure, gents. Closing comments from yourselves.
Do not lose Saturday.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's my closing comment.
For me, obviously, Man United give me a good game on Sunday at Old Trafford. Give me a good result. I really want to see it. Julio?
Omar Barada, hear me out with my Ancelotti case study. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And on that, it is time to win. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon. Goodbye, everybody, and thanks for watching. These have been incredible. Like, share, subscribe. Bye-bye.
Live on YouTube. And listen back on Spotify. This is the World of Football podcast.